Yeah. I don't ever remember feeling like this. But I'm out here in these YouTube streets. So I want you to get your fingers. I don't know what you're doing. I want you to get your mouse. I want you to check me out. And I want you to check me out. Get ready to do this. It's the relationship rehab. Like, share, and subscribe. We coming at you live. So come on, let's take a ride. Then subscribe to United Guns of America. Just click that link and listen up to what I'm telling you. It's the relationship rehab. Click that link right now. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Brian Revan, and I just want y'all to subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? I want you to let me know what you think. I'm gonna talk about some things, you can talk about some things, and we can do our thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all about having a conversation, right? I mean, if we can't talk to each other, then, I mean, what are we really here for? I want y'all to be able to just come over to my channel, talk to me about what's going on with you, and I can tell you what's going on with me, and we can build some things. You know what I'm saying? That's all about growth, baby. So click that link, go ahead and swipe on your phone, whatever you gotta do. Share my content. It's just get me out here, baby. Cause we just talking, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I like doing what I'm doing because it's about the people. It's about us having a conversation with each other. It's about us discussing whatever needs to be discussed. And on these YouTube streets, this is the best place to do it, baby. Like, share, and subscribe. That's right. Click the link. Click the link. Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's out here that's already subscribed. You know what I'm saying? Cause y'all ain't the first one, and y'all ain't the last one. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody that done click the link, that done click the share, and then subscribe to your boy. Cause we gon' grow this thing together, baby. Relationship rehabbing, United Guns of America. To the world blow up, baby. Yeah. Click the link, baby. Click the link, baby. Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to send a shout out to all y'all. I love y'all. That's why I do this. It's for the love of us, baby. I appreciate all of y'all. Ooh, we gon' do this thing. We gon' do this thing right here, baby. Hey, look, if you at a computer right now, just go ahead and click your link. What else you got to lose, baby? Tell me what you think. Hit the comment section. You can jump on the live panel. We do it all here. That's what it's all about. So come holler at your boy. I've been doing this for years, but I just got onto this YouTube thing. So hey, let's see what it do and where it can go. To United Guns of America. Just click the link and listen up to what I'm telling you, telling you. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Brian Revan, and yes, we are back for another late live. This ain't just a regular live. This is a late live because it is late, and I'm late because I fell asleep, but I ain't got to go to work in the morning, so hey, here I is. So let's go ahead and let's get it going. I have a great show for y'all on today, and this is one of those things where I already had another show planned, but when I saw this, I said, no, I just gotta do my thing now. As my great Uncle Billy would say, Mama, I'm gonna do my thing now. That's just what it is. But this is one of those things where I think that this is very important for several reasons. And I think that hopefully I will be able to point those several different reasons and areas out on today's show. And hey, as always, I'm opening it up to you guys to let me know what you all think in the comment section. And if for some reason there is something that you need or would like to debate me on, whatever the case may be, or have a discussion about, then definitely please let me know, hit me up, and we can do just that. But without further ado, let me get into my favorite part of the show, and then we're going to go right on in.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
So, let's go ahead and let's do this. I want to get the chat going first and foremost. But I will go ahead and line everything up as far as what we're about to talk about on tonight. For those of you who don't know, and I will definitely say that this is one of those instances where I am able to just be completely fair and down the line because I'm not too familiar with the parties involved, but I can just basically say that it's one of those things where I can just see what happened, and I've even said previously until now, and I don't know how this change came about, but I've even said previously the candidate Vivek, well, how does he say it? No, it's not Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy. And Teslin Figaro, it's been a thing to where I don't know too much about them, but the things that I've seen have not been, I guess, disturbing one way or the other. It's been pretty much a thing where giving their opinions, this is pretty much what it is, and I'm cool with that. I don't think that, and this is one of the things that I will say that I have liked about Tesla Figueroa is that in the past that I've seen her, she's pretty much been a person who's been about facts, who's been about just, stating the truth, and that to me, I'm always good with that, right? And I can say the little bit that I've seen about Vivek Ramaswamy, he's the guy that's running for president. Haven't heard about him or heard of him until he threw his hat in the ring to run for president. And the few times that I've seen him speak, he's pretty much been, in my opinion, a solid person as far as more so as trying to be a politician. He's been on the other side, and that was probably one of the things that I was like, oh, okay, I'm willing to hear what this guy has to say. And I'm not, I wasn't dismissive of him, because it's like, I've been saying this for some years now. I am tired of the classic generational politician that's been groomed and raised to be a politician. I don't want to vote for people, and I don't want to hear from these types of politicians that have been groomed to pretty much say what I want, tell me what I want to hear, make me feel good, and pretty much lie to me in order to get my vote. When all in all, and when the truth comes out, they have their own agenda that they're, trying to address, and it has nothing to do with what they said. I understand that everyone has an agenda. I do understand that. Whether it's party-based, personally based, whatever the case may be. If you're in politics, you have an agenda. Period. And then there is also in politics a desire for just flat out calling a thing, power. You want power to be able to do whatever it is, whether it's serving your agenda, serving the people, 50-50, a little bit of both. That's just what this game is, and I understand that. However, I don't want to deal with people that are going to just flat out lie to me consistently and have a totally different agenda from what they've talked about. If you tell me I ain't gonna do shit for black people and I want your vote, tell me that and let me decide. As opposed to saying you gonna do everything for us and then you get my vote and don't do jack shit for us. That's my thing. And not to say that there's people out there that have done that per se, but things like that have happened. And we as black people, we have this problem of trying not to focus on the problem. We want to talk about everything else that make us feel good or make us feel some kind of way, good or bad.
And then that's what we want to use to vote on. We are some of the most, and I will say this is my biggest problem with black voters or the black vote. And just hear what I'm saying when I say this. The problem with the black vote and the black voter is that it's too much of an emotional vote. Our vote has been, for the past 50-something years, has been purely emotional. Whether we voting for or voting against, it's all based in our feelings. We don't have a strategy. We don't have an agenda as black people. We don't have demands as black people. We literally are just voting based on our feelings. How you make us feel, how we already feeling, and that's pretty much what we using to decide who we voting for. Just like, and case in point, we've been default Democrats. I myself was one, all the way up through and through, voted for Obama. Default Democrat. Why? Because that's what we've been taught, and because the Democrats have pandered to the black vote for 50-something years. Ever since what's the dude name that got in the office? That got in the office after Kennedy, LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson. After he got in the office, once he got in the office, his whole plan and that agenda has been, let's pander to black folks, and then we'll get their vote, and they will vote for us by default. And he literally, they've even said, that motherfucker said, we gonna have these niggas voting for us for the next 50 years. And he was right. It's actually, well, he was wrong. Because it ain't just been 50, it's been like 53 or 54 years. These niggas have been voting Democrat. Just saying. We've been voting for the whole group when the whole Dixiecrat thing took place and all that stuff and the changing of the guard. The motherfuckers said we gonna have these when they released Title IV and started all that shit they gave when the government stepped in and started parenting our communities, started putting our women against us and having our women take control of the communities. And I don't want to hear that black men let black women take over the community. Bullshit. Black women chose to take the driver's seat in that community. They chose to take over. They chose to take advantage, and they did that by taking advantage of the government handouts that were given for single black women, which made them want to be and okay with being single. We'll give you this money if you put the man out of the house. And they was like, okay. And they did it. So it's one of those things to where we have done this for years. And I'm glad to say that me being a part of and have noticed this awakening of black folks starting to open their eyes, starting to think, and literally changing who they vote for based on facts and the fact that they see Democrats ain't done shit for us in over 50 years. I think it's time to make a change. Which makes sense. It just does. It makes sense. And it was like people, and I'll say this before I get the show started, just in a case and a point. People were offended, and I'm talking about niggas, got offended by the statement Donald Trump made in 2020, saying when he was asked about getting the black vote, and he said, well, when you look at what has been happening with black folks for all of these years, what do y'all have to lose? Niggas was offended for whatever reason. However, when Joe Biden in 2016, he said it, or 2020. No, it was 2020. He said, what do you got to lose? But in 2020, in that same election, when Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, niggas wasn't offended. They literally were not offended because they didn't want to have to acknowledge the fact that maybe we backing the wrong horse. You tell me, somebody telling you, hey man, what do you have to lose? I'm going to look at that and say, shit, well, what do I have to lose? Versus somebody telling me what I ain't if I don't vote for them. You ain't cool if you don't vote for me. You ain't smart if you don't vote for me. No, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. White man telling you this. And we was like, okay, yeah, some Uncle Joe. But whatever. This is one of those instances where I said this a couple of nights ago. I think it was last week when I was on Tommy's Twitter Spaces. And I said this, and I'm going to keep saying it because I am disgusted, and it's disgustive as to how and why we consistently do this as black people, and especially black folks in social media and black folks in media in general. We have consistently put ourselves in a position to where we speak about things that we don't know about, have not researched, and cannot or have not presented facts on. We speak on these things. We will talk cash, just cold cash shit about something or someone whom we don't know about and just heard certain things about, but we haven't verified for ourselves. And I don't understand why we consistently do this. We will say things that are not true. We will say catchphrases to get by throughout the conversation. Like somebody will say this: you a coon. Explain to me how. And we'll say, black folks, you be cooning. Explain to me how. Like I said, you be cooning. Why can't you explain to me and point out exactly what I did or what I said that you would consider cooning? You know what I'm talking about. Can you explain it and articulate it? I said what I said. You a coon. Can you tell me what a coon is? You see what I'm saying? It's like no articulation to the point, no presentation of facts. It's just flat out name calling, catchphrases, and I don't understand how you can use those two things to justify a point or to say whether or not if something is true or not. It's just like this. And just to give you an example, if I say, hey, the weather today sucks. That's my opinion, right? And someone says, well, why do you say that? I'll say, well, first off, it's 50 degrees outside, and I don't like it when it's cool or cold. Also, it's a forecast. There's no sun shining today or right now. I like the sun. You see what I'm saying? Third, it's raining outside. And although I will watch the rain in the house, I don't like to be outside in the rain. So I give him my opinion because that's just what that is, that the weather today sucks. And I don't want to go outside. And when someone asks me why I don't like to go outside, I didn't just say because it is, because the weather fucked up. I gave specific reasons, 3 of them, that were factual reasons as to why I don't like the weather today. I told you it was cold, in my opinion. I told you it was raining, and I told you that there was no sun because I like it when it's warm, which is above, anything above 70 is warm to me. I like it when it's above 70. I also like it when it's sun shining, and I also like it when it's not raining. So I like clear skies, warm weather, and sunshine. Right? I gave you 3 facts to support my opinion on a statement that I made. I didn't call you out your name. I didn't call you something. I didn't use a catchphrase. I didn't use any of those buzzwords or buzz phrases like phobia, phobic. I didn't say that just because I don't like something. And since I'm saying that, let me go on ahead and go down Tranny Street right quick. The fact that I say that I don't like trans or homosexual people, if I say that, that doesn't mean that I'm homophobic or that I'm transphobic. I just don't like it. I don't like chocolate ice cream. At one point I did, but I don't like chocolate ice cream now. You won't see me ordering or eating chocolate ice cream. I just don't do it. As a kid, I love chocolate ice cream. I would eat chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake, but I don't like chocolate ice cream. It's not that I'm afraid of chocolate ice cream. It's not that I'm chocolate ice cream phobic. It's just that I don't like that particular flavor. And just because I don't like it, it doesn't mean that I'm hateful. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. It's a preference. I don't like it. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's not that I'm afraid of it. I just don't like it. That's all. It's like if somebody says, hey, well, are you homophobic? No. But I tell you what, I don't like, what do you call it? The flamboyant, I'm trying to pass as a woman homosexuals. I don't like hanging around them. I just don't. I like my homosexuals conservative. I like my homosexuals to be who they is. I don't like for them to be posing as something else. I don't like for them to have 35 inches of yaki. That's just my preference. It's not that I'm afraid of them, and it's not that I hate them. It's just my preference. Just like there's people that don't like fat people. I don't like being around fat people. You fat phobic? Nope. Just don't like it. There's people don't like being around black people. You black phobic? Nope. Just don't like it. I don't like niggas. I ain't scared of them. I ain't scared of them. I just don't like being around them. Because of the shit they do, shit they say, and the shit that happens when niggas are involved. It's just what it is. So, with that being said, this is one of those instances where, and I'm going to say this, with the size of the platform that the Breakfast Club has, which is, I mean, they got something like few million, I think 3 or 4 or 5 million subscribers on this channel, on their channel. I'm not tripping on what their position is or what their stance is. I can challenge it. I'm more so upset as to how they run it, being black folks. Being black folks. The way that they race hustle, the way that they insist on race hustling. And they always want to use the, it's like when you know there's a problem, focusing on the overarching issue or what the potential issue could be is one thing. However, when you have a problem that is extremely detrimental that's going on right now, and you're not addressing that, the trauma wound, as opposed to how somebody got there, is just like saying a person comes into the ER, and you'll see this, a person comes into the ER, and that person in the ER has a heart attack. I'm having a heart attack right now, right? And if you say, hey, this person's having a heart attack, would you want your doctor or would you want the medical staff that's on duty to attend to the actual heart attack that's happening? Or would you want them to start going over your diet history, start looking at your weight, start looking at your blood pressure, start looking at all of the contributing factors as to why you potentially could have or be having a heart attack? Would you want them to focus on the heart attack? Or would you want them to focus on why you're having the heart attack? Well, let's start by just seeing how we got here. So what do you eat on a regular, Mr. Redmond? I'm having a heart attack, man. My heart is being attacked. That's my thing with a lot of pro-blacks, a lot of race hustlers, is that they want to talk about all of the other shit as opposed to what's happening right now and what's being affected right now. And I don't understand why they do that. Well, I do. It's because they, in my opinion, they don't want to accept the responsibility and hold us accountable for our behavior and for our choices. That's all secondary shit. Right now, everything is the system and the white man, white supremacy. That's they three. The system, the white man, and white supremacy. However you want to shuffle that around, fine. But this is exactly what I'm talking about, and the fact that these dudes are on this platform and they're running this like this, and the fact that they just brought, and I will say this, and I never thought I would, Tesla and Figueroa, she showed me in this episode that she's actually worse than Angela Yee. And I didn't think, I was so glad to see Angela Yee off this platform because she never like really offered anything of value. She was just literally the woman on the show. And this is like Tesla Figueroa, she was worse. That's all I'm saying. She's worse than Angela Yee. That's all I gotta say. And you'll see it. But let's go ahead.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. Teslin Figaro is with us this morning.
I can't wait to see you attempt this name.
And we got a special guest in the building,
Yeah.
Vivek Ramaswamy. Did I say it right?
That's actually pretty good. It's better than most
Pretty
hosts.
good.
Yeah, it's like Ramaswamy, like CD-ROM, but yeah.
Well, I said Ramaswamy.
Yeah, you got it.
Ramaswamy. Well, good morning.
Good to see you guys.
How you
Good to see
feeling?
you too.
Feeling good, guys.
You're running for president.
I am.
Running for president. Yeah, you're actually polling third behind Trump and DeSantis right now. The latest Fox poll shows you
A
polling.
distant third.
A distant third.
A distant third, yes.
I was about to say the third from second is huge, but what do you think you need to do to close that gap?
I mean, most people in this country do not know who I am. So against that backdrop, the fact that
And I will say this, I'm one of them. I'm definitely one of them. Like I said, I didn't know who this dude was. But like I said, the few times that I've seen him and I've been like, oh, okay. You know, hey, not the I want to go vote for this dude, but I would just say I appreciate his authenticity, and I appreciate the fact that he is literally just trying to bring some change and some option. Do I think that he's, the front running candidate? I can't say that because I don't know enough about him, but definitely I would say that he's definitely somebody that I would think that's worth being listened to at the very least.
ahead of a vice president and a bunch of U.S. senators and a former U.S. ambassador and governors is honestly ahead of where I expect it to be right now. Our goal was to be in third by the end of the year. And then you have the Iowa caucus, and then you have the New Hampshire primary. And the fact that you go those early states in order makes it possible for an outsider like me to actually do this because we spend a lot of time getting to know people in those states. And so it's going to be a steady process. The debates, I think, are pretty key. They start in August. I'm qualified for the debate stage already. I tend to like settings where we're debating. So hopefully that goes well, and we'll see where this takes us.
You know what I like? I'm going to say this. One of the things that I like about Fresh and Fit, well, not necessarily like, but I wish they would kind of change. I like Fresh and Fit, and I really would like to see them have more shows where they are not necessarily, you know how they have the girls on and everybody like the girls and all that. That's fine and dandy. But I would really like for them to actually have either less girls on or have girls that actually like know shit to debate their points and what they're saying, because I think that they have a lot of girls that are on there that literally like don't do shit. And those are, they taking up space on the damn panel, number one. But number two, it's like I believe that what they have done so far in building their channel and building their brand, I believe that what they've done so far, I think that the next level for them would be to actually like have people on there to like challenge what it is that they're saying and challenge their points and their positions. I think that I like the fact that they do the three-prong thing, whereas Fresh and Fit, then they'll have a guest, and then they'll have the girls on there. I just wish that they would have the girls that got more realistic debating points, than like some of the ones they have on there. So if they got like 9 girls on there, maybe 4 of them would be something to actually like bring some type of substance to the conversation, and then the other 5, they just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and even I think that because they're big enough to where they can bring people that are completely opposed to what they're saying, and having those people on, whether they look good or not, whatever the case may be, but having those people on there, and they don't necessarily have to be young girls, but just women in general across the whole spectrum, because it's like I like the fact that we're trying to change the mindset of young women, but I believe that sometimes you have to expose older women to show that to young women. So I would really like to see them do that a little bit more. They've done it a few times, and to me, they've been some of their better shows when it comes to like the after hour stuff, aside from their guests and stuff they have on there. But like, I would like to see that more, you know, because it's like they are them young girls that's on there. They got them on there for eye candy, and the chat loves them and all that shit. But it's like, you need some people on there that's really like challenging what it is and not just opposing to what y'all saying because they just are not informed and they just don't have like, I don't want to just say call them stupid, but they don't have like knowledge on there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, they had a female dating coach on there the other day. Okay, I haven't seen that one. But it's just one of those things where I would just like to see that a little bit more, because I believe that their position and their points in a lot of areas, I'm about 96% in agreement with everything that they say. It's some things I'm like, well, that's kind of like to each his own. But for the greater majority of the shit that they say, that shit is on point. So she said, ouch, B, some of the girls on their show is like parsley, only a garnishment. Yes, exactly, nigga. It's like, they're like, you know, like, yeah, okay, I get it, but I don't need 5 of them here like that. You know, it'll be like 3 girls or 4 girls sitting on the couch, and then you got 6 girls sitting on the panel, and you'll hear one of the girls on the couch will actually like have a good question or have something good to add, and the other ones, they just on there just to be on there, and they don't want to say nothing because they either are not equipped for the conversation or they don't want to be the one to get Frank Castle. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they kind of like just sit there and they just like quiet. And they just, yeah, you know, yeah. And it's like, yeah, get your ass off the show. You ain't got nothing to say. But that's my thing. So he said, what did he say about Auburn Preach? Oh, man, yeah. I'm like, Auburn Preach, I don't give a what nobody say about that. The shit that they've said with Fresh and Fit, when they talked about Fresh and Fit, them niggas is haters. But whatever. And I don't know why the hell Auburn Preacher ain't changed they goddamn set. All the money that they should be getting from their channel and they show, they still standing up in the same fucking closet and saying shit. So I like them and some of the shit that they say, but a lot of shit they say, I don't be with it. I just don't. So, but like I said, it is what it is. To each their own. They do their thing. But let me get back to this.
Somebody who's not a white male really stand a chance of being a Republican? Not me.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that there's
They
this.
don't seem like they're open to that kind of diversity.
I'll be honest with
I need
you.
to check that out.
I travel the country. I have not really experienced meaningful racism from grassroots conservative audiences for the last, several years that I've been, since I stepped down from my business career. That was a different world I was in. But for my book tours and everything else, and then now for this campaign, traveling the country, it's funny. That's the impression that you get from the media, meeting people from Iowa, Ohio, Michigan, New Hampshire. I don't see that at all. In fact, I just see a hunger for substance, ideas, what's actually going to make the country better. I actually am very encouraged by that, and I think that more people should. I mean, I used to live here in New York as well, and I'm not saying this about you guys, but I remember for me, you get trapped in a bubble. When we get out of that bubble,
I'm going to South Carolina.
Well, perfect. Well,
Yeah,
South
so
Carolina. When did you?
So like, it's like, I guess one of the things that I've seen Charlemagne. One of the things I've seen Charlemagne do is that Charlemagne, he straddles the fence, or he'll be like, he'll go from one side to the other. But I think that it's kind of like, dude, why don't you just call a thing and just say, hey, this is what it is and this is what it's not? Because it's like, when you're talking about racism, when you're talking about, the existence of racism, what racism was and what racism is today, it is literally two different things. Two different things. Racism used to be a thing to where it was a truly systemic roadblock to hold black people into a certain area, to put a ceiling on certain black people, to put black people in a certain box. However, in today's world, because of the options that we have and because of the things that we have access to now, it is literally a speed bump that we can actually sidestep. You know how sometimes you see speed bumps and then there's a way that you can like drive and go either in between speed bumps or go around the speed bump? It's like that now. What used to be a wall, which is racism back in the day, if you will, is now been reduced to literally a speed bump. It's something, technically it's there. However, it's not going to hinder you. And that's the thing to where, and over time, that speed bump is steadily getting worn down to where it's not the big ass speed bump where you got to come down to a fucking stop and duck walk over the motherfucker with your car, or you got to stop and hit that whoa before you can keep going. It's literally a boom. Now I can't hit the motherfucker going 45 miles an hour, but I can definitely roll over this motherfucker. And it's like, and the reason why I'm saying that is because there are so many things that we have access to, number one, and then there are so many things that we as black folks specifically get to say and do that is like, yeah, we wasn't able to do that, but now we're able to do that, which goes to show you that racism ain't what it was back in the day. And you want to talk about what it is today, you can, but it is not the hindrance that we had from back in the day. And it's like, he knows that. I know that he knows that and he sees that. However, that speed bump mentality, that speed bump that it's there, he tries to turn that into a wall consistently. And that's my problem I have with him, and I have with a lot of black folks that are successful and that have unlocked the keys to the matrix and figured it out. Not to say that every black person can be as rich as you and do what you do and have what you have, but we do have a tremendous amount of opportunity to have a better life that we actively have control over, that we have yet to been able to go and attain and to do on a consistent basis.
When did you grow up there?
My whole life. I didn't move to New York till 2006. So I understand exactly
2006.
what you're saying.
But I actually think a lot of what I'm saying is specific to, I think the country is in a different place today even than it was in the 90s and 2000s. I grew up in Southwest Ohio in the 1990s. Very different environment than it is today. But anyway, I mean it as a good note. I don't think that there's some sort of racist obstacle in the mind of Republican primary voters. Actually, if you look at the Republican field, even some of those other people on that poll you were mentioning, I mean, Tim Scott, Nikki Haley,
yeah.
Go down the list. I mean, there's even others as well. Larry Elder, black man's running. I mean, I think we'll see who ends up succeeding. But whoever it is, I don't think it's going to be a racial bias that holds me back.
Why should people vote for you?
Yeah, so I'm somebody who is coming in as an outsider to the system. And I think in the White House, when it comes to the White House, if we really want to reform a lot of the corruption in government, it is going to take an outsider to get that job done.
Basically saying politicians that have been groomed, that have been brought up through the system, should be the one thing that we should not be looking for. I would rather vote for an average Joe, an average person, or a person that has not been entrenched in the political arena. I would rather vote for that person than a person who is a seasoned politician. That's exactly what I'm saying when I said that earlier. Like, the type of person that I want to vote for is just essentially a non-politician. That's who I'm like. Most people that say, oh, they've been in politics for 32 years and they've been around for 20 years in politics and activism. That shit to me, when you're in that realm, it's a turnoff for me instantly. I'm already side-eyeing you because now I know that you got an agenda. And that agenda, more than likely, because the greater majority of seasoned politicians, it is self-serving first. Just saying.
I'm 37. I'm the first millennial ever to run for president as a Republican. And I think I have a view on our generation of what's going on in the country, where we are all so hungry for a cause, for purpose and meaning and identity. But the things that used to give us that sense of purpose, faith, patriotism, family, hard work, these things are out. And that's why we latch on to fill in the blank. I mean, in conservative circles, a lot of us will point to wokeism, gender ideology, the climate cult, COVIDism. But you could fill in the blank with depression, anxiety, drug use.
So he's naming them off. Like all of the stuff that he's like talking about, he's naming them off. Envy asked the question, he answered.
Suicide. I think these are symptoms of a deeper hunger for purpose and meaning in our country.
He's not teaching us about racism, Bob. He's basically explaining from his experience what he thinks that is. And just like I said earlier, it's like, can you find something that you would deem to be racist? It's just like, and I'm going to say you probably could, but what part or what racist system today is holding back black people as a whole? What can you say that is racist today, that you would say is racism today, that is holding black people back from achieving and being successful in the world today? Because all he's giving is his opinion from his perspective and his experience in life, which is pretty much all you kind of like have. So it's like, that's my thing. It's like, I don't think that he is the textbook explanation of what racism is, or he's teaching us about racism. He's not. He's not. But I can definitely say that the whole idea of what racism was, like I said, and what racism is today, it's not the thing that is holding us back. It's not the thing that's bringing us down. It is not the thing that is consistently destroying us day in and day out. It's niggas fighting and shooting each other at the Polish stand that's hurting us as a black people, as the black community. He's Brahmin. I don't know what does that mean? I don't know what that means. He's Brahmin. Okay, why is he telling us this? He's giving his experience and just explaining what it was to answer the question. That's all he's doing. What's wrong with that? It's like we have this thing to where black people are the only people that can talk about racism or talk about things being racist or not being racist. It's like that Don Lemon shit that he got into it with on here, where he said, unless you been black and you got skin like mine, you can't tell me nothing about racism. Well, what the fuck are we talking about then? And my thing is, what's the problem with him saying what he feels is the truth and what his experience is? What is the problem with that? That's what I don't understand. He's not trying to say, oh, well, he got to tell us about. He ain't telling me shit, but what the fuck his experience is. If a white person talks about racism, what's the problem with that? He ain't teaching me shit. That's your position to think that he's teaching you about racism? No, he's not teaching me a goddamn thing. Why can't he say what it is that he wants to say from his experience? Why can't he say that, number one? And then you say, well, that's all he does. Why is that a problem if that's all he does? Why does that matter if that's all he does? Either you listen to it or you don't. Why would that be an issue? Well, that's all he does is say this. Well, that's what he wants to talk about. All fucking Ernie Johnson does on TNT is talk about fucking basketball. That's all he does. Why? That's all he wants to talk about. Thank you. Rico said, I'd rather give this guy a chance instead of another crony politician. Exactly. He's playing on my conservative mindset and hate for niggas. He's actually smart. How is he playing on that? I ain't started saying I hate niggas before this motherfucker. Y'all know how many years have I been saying I hate niggas? It was way before I even knew who this motherfucker was. Before I even heard this motherfucker's name. So how's he playing on that? He's not. I don't get it. I just don't get it. He said, John says Brahmin means he is the highest class in the Indian caste system. Okay, we not in India, motherfucker. This is America, Jack. And I think he's saying that Vivek is trying to talk down to everyone else. I would say if that's what he's trying to say, John, then let Bob say it. Because obviously I would hope he would be able to articulate himself and say that, but I still don't see how he's talking down to somebody by basically giving his experience. How? See, and this is the thing that I love. Like I said in the beginning. Now watch this. Watch this. This is exactly what I was talking about, and I'm gonna put my theory to the test. Great statement that he made. He says he knows there's a lot of people like you he's feeding y'all. Can you explain to me what he's feeding me and that I'm obviously eating? I got time today. There's the question. His statement was he knows there's a group of people like you he's feeding y'all. Can you explain to me what the group of people like me is, and can you explain to me what he's feeding me that I'm eating? That's all I would like to know. I would really just like to know that part. If you could just speak specifically to that part so that I can understand what it is that you're saying. Because you said it before, he's playing on my conservative mindset and hate for niggas, calling him smart. So I guess there's something that you're seeing that I'm not. So here we go. He says he's trying to relate to the black experience. He's from a different world. You're saying it's his point of view. He never seen a nigga. Do you see what I mean? He's trying to relate to the black experience. How is he trying to relate to the black experience when they were talking about racism? The black experience in racism, the Hispanic experience of racism, the Chinese experience in racism, the whoever other nationality experience in racism, how is that trying to relate to the black experience? What the fuck is that? And then you're saying it's his point of view. It abso-fucking-lutely is his point of view. And then you're saying, so you can have a black experience, but he can't have an experience. And then you say he's never seen niggas. How do you know? Niggas are on TV and on Google. Google niggas. How is it that you can say that and you don't know this person? It's like, what do you mean he's never seen a nigga? Like, what does that mean? It goes back to my point. He's trying to do something that you don't know what he's doing, but he's trying to relate to the black experience. He never once said, yeah, I know what it means to be discriminated against like black people was. That would be trying to relate to the black experience. You're saying he's from a different world. Where is he from? That dude's a fucking American. He's born and raised here in America. What world would he be? What world is he from that's obviously here? He's not an immigrant. He's fucking running for president. But because, and here's my thing, and this is what niggas do, because he ain't saying what we want him to say and making us feel good, then we are instantly trying to ostracize him and saying he ain't like us. But we let a bitch like Kamala Harris, who say, yeah, I remember smoking weed to Tupac and Biggie. Bitch, you wasn't even in college when Tupac and Biggie was out. Fuck you mean? When I was in school, yeah, I listened to Tupac and Biggie. Bitch, you wasn't even in school when Tupac and Biggie was out. But we let her ride. Bitch clearly gets on television time and time again and says, I'm not black, I'm Indian. Her father is Jamaican. Her mama is Indian. But all black bitches and all black folks, yeah, the first black vice president, female vice president, she the first one. Bob ain't derailing the show, I'm on my way. But I'm just saying, you look at that and then you say these types of things that you let Kamala get away. Bitches walking around with Chuck Taylors and wearing pearls talking about my vice president is black when the bitch clearly says it time and time again. I am Indian. I'm not black. And not to mention the other pro-black requirement, she got a white husband, don't she? How does that fit into the pro-black narrative? Just saying. She get a pass though, because she make us feel good and she say what we want to hear. The minute somebody else ain't doing that, then this, yeah, he's playing on our blackness. He's feeding me this. And he's saying, y'all, you right, y'all easy either way. Still no point. Still no facts. What policy do you like of his? I just told you from the beginning. I don't know this dude. I have not studied him. I told you that. But if I hear something that I may agree or disagree with, or may like a little bit or may not, why can't I have that choice? This is the problem. And I don't know if Bob is black or white, but this is the mentality that pro-blacks and Democrat liberal niggas have, period. He's talking about blacks, now he got your vote. Easy. When did I say, or did I even say that I would vote for this nigga? That's what black folks do. That's what that democratic liberal mentality is. You vote for him then, ain't you? I never said that. Nope. Left third, Kamala dad is from Jamaica, nigga. Light-skinned Jamaican, baby. Talking about a caste system? Look that up. But I'm just saying. But the thing, and just like going right back to it, okay, proceed. Let's see what the Indian guy says. Niggas are just as racist as the most racist white person you can find. And like I said, I don't know if Bob is black or white, but he's definitely feeding into the black racist mentality. The same shit that most race hustlers do. He keeps stirring that motherfucking, that same old stupid, unfucking educated, unmotherfucking research attitude. It's the same thing. Why do you feel this dude is an American? Why do you feel the need to point out that saying he's a Brahmin Indian? He's an Indian. Why do you feel the need to point that out? Okay, let's proceed and see what the Indian says. Would you have said the same thing and said, let's proceed and see what the Jamaican says? Would you say the same thing? Would you say the same thing about Kamala Harris? Let's proceed and see what the Indian is saying. Nope. Let's proceed and see what the white person is saying. You don't speak like that. You're specifically calling out this person's nationality. You're specifically calling out this person's background and where he's from. For what purpose? To keep the division going. That's it. That's what race hustling is. I'm going to keep pointing out the thing that can divide us, which is skin color. I'm going to keep pointing that out. The black experience. What the fuck is that? That's the shit I'm talking about. That's why racism, that's why color, that's why all of this shit keeps being an issue, even though it's not really an issue, but they keep stirring the pot of shit to keep the fresh smell in the air. Stir that pot of shit up, boy. Don't just let it sit. That's all it is. It's all a way to keep motherfuckers divided and to keep motherfuckers going at it. Going at each other. The African, the Haitian, I don't care. The point is that you would never have said it to say, let's see what the African says. Let's see what the Nigerian says. Let's see what let's see what the Haitian says. Let's see what the Dominican says. You wouldn't say it, dude.
And so in some ways, I'm running as a member of my generation to say that we can fill that void with the things that actually give us real purpose. Revive family in America. That's actually a big part of my platform. It's what allowed me to achieve success. My parents gave me a great family foundation. I didn't grow up in money. We're trying to give that to my two kids as well. I want that to be enjoyed by Americans across the country. Belief in the country, national pride. Less than 16% of Gen Z even says they're proud to be an American.
So he's already said he's about families. I'm for that. He's already said he's about American pride. I'm for that. Now, I haven't heard anything about policy yet, but I can tell you there are two ideas that he just said, that he just stated, that I'm for. Now, here's my thing. I wonder what person in the chat that could be listening now would say that they're against that. When we talk about black people, do you not think that those are two things that would definitely affect the black community? Yes, thank you, Nikki. And generational wealth. Can someone tell me how he's trying to pander to, cater to, or feeding y'all that stuff that ain't good for us, obviously? He said he got that Dan Aykroyd headline. You bogus, AI. I'm just saying, can somebody tell me how that's a bad thing? Listening to the Indian, can we see how that's a bad thing? He talked about family, generational wealth, and being proud to be an American. But we got a problem with that. All right.
I'm not making this one up. This is about a month ago. There was a good survey. 60% of young Americans said that they would sooner give up their right to vote than to give up access to TikTok or other social media. That's a problem. So I think we have a crisis of national pride.
Whose fault is that, though? That's America's fault. That's the system's fault for constantly failing the people.
Well, you know, I see it. I see it less about. We can allocate the blame. We can talk about allocating the blame.
You see what I mean? That's America's problem. That ain't America's problem. And this is the thing that this is the point that I said earlier when we first started. That overarching thing, we try to blame everyone but ourselves. That's not an America problem. That's a parenting problem. The fact that your children or this Z generation values access to social media more than their voting privilege, their right to vote. They would rather give up their right to vote and keep access to social media. That ain't got shit to do with America did that to us. No, that's bad parenting or lack thereof. And most of the shit that we have problems with when it comes to what's going on in America, when it comes to generations, when it comes to young people, 95, 99% of the shit has to deal with parenting, bad parenting or lack thereof. Don't believe me, just watch.
I think there's blame to go around. I think it's up to all of us to take a long, hard look in the mirror and ask ourselves, what is that vacuum in our heart? It's an old saying that goes, if there's a hole the size of God in your heart and God does not fill it, something else will instead. I think the same applies for belief in a nation as well. So I think what's going on is we're human beings. What makes us different from animals is that we can believe. We need to believe in something bigger than ourselves. And when we lose God and family and country, we start believing in new false gods instead. That's what's going on in the country. And so I don't know that it's so much a question of fault, but more a question of how do we actually revive our sense of self-confidence and pride.
Oh, and watch this. I'm going to rewind a little bit just so you can see it take place. He actually addressed the actual problem that's occurring right now and how to say this is what we need to look at. I'm going to address the person having the heart attack right now as opposed to trying to look as to why this person is having a heart attack. And watch that's exactly what Charlamagne's going to do.
Question of fault. I can absolutely blame white supremacy. 100.
See that?
Really? Of national pride. Allocate the blame. We can talk about allocating the blame. I think there's blame to go around. It's an old saying that goes, if there's a hole the size of God in your heart and God does not fill it, something else will instead. I think the same applies for belief in a nation as well. So I think what's going on is we're human beings. What makes us different from animals is that we can believe. We need to believe in something bigger than ourselves. And when we lose God and family and country, we start believing in new false gods instead.
Watch.
That's what's going on in the country. And so I don't know that it's so much a question of fault, but more a question of how do we actually revive our sense of self-confidence and
it's
pride.
definitely a question of fault. I can absolutely blame white supremacy. 100.
It's definitely a thing of a question of fault. So let's not address the problem. Let's not bandage the wound. Let's not actually provide help to the area of trauma. Nope. We want to talk about whose fault this is. And that's exactly what pro-blacks do. That's exactly what Democrats do. That's exactly what liberals do. Y'all motherfuckers want to talk about what has happened for 400 years as to why we are where we are today. Yeah, the reason why you having that heart attack right now is because of 400 years of bad eating. Yeah, but I'm having a heart attack right now. Can you help me? I mean, I could, but let's look at the problem as to why you actually having it. That's what it is in a nutshell. I got a fucking gunshot to the fucking stomach, and you want to talk about the life I've lived and why I became a gangbanger in the first fucking place. You must be a gangbanger, man. I see you shot in your stomach. Yes, I am the trauma surgeon, but I first want to just point out and acknowledge the fact that, you was a gangbanger, man. And you got into that gang. You started being out there in the streets. Meanwhile, I'm bleeding the fuck out. That's exactly what race hustlers do. It all goes back to white supremacy. It all goes back to systemic racism, no matter what the fuck is going on. And that's the reason why something is the way that it is today. And that's the reason why something ain't gonna never be fixed. It's because of those two things. That's just what it is. No matter what the fuck happens, no matter what this dude just said, he's literally talking about trying to change the mentality, change the mindset to, number one, bring us closer together as a nation and to help us be successful across the board. Let's stop focusing on the bullshit that happened 400 years ago, and let's actually look at what's affecting us right now, and let's get that part together first. Then we can go back and take a look at that. But let's stop this motherfucking wound that we have right now because we're bleeding out. Nope. Problem is, it's systemic. It's racism, and that's what it is, man. It's been the racism that's been. Meanwhile, you sitting your $1 million ass nigga up in a motherfucking oversized fucking chair, or should I say a throne, because you Charlamagne the God. Yeah, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
say more, and then I'll respond to that.
I mean, just look at the history of the country. Like, it's really just that simple for me. The country has never fulfilled its promises of freedom, liberty, and justice for all. It's always been freedom, liberty, and justice for some. And usually that some is white people.
So here's what I would say. And
Now, he has a point. America, just hear this, I know that what I'm about to say is gonna be fucking earth-shattering. It's shocking. But just hear it. I know y'all ain't ready for this, but just hear it. America, and I'm gonna say this slow, America is not fair. I know. Let me just say it again. America is not fair. One more time for the people in the cheap seats. America is not fair. Now, we've established and we've acknowledged the pink elephant in the room. Here's my solution to the problem. I believe that everyone who agrees with my statement that America is not fair and you want to be in a country that is, I would suggest that every last one of y'all, American and foreigners alike, I suggest y'all move to the country that is fair. I don't know where it is. I don't know what country it is. I'm just suggesting the solution because America ain't going to be fair tomorrow. It ain't going to be fair next week. It won't be fair next year. It won't be fair 5 years from now. It won't be fair 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm going to step out on a limb and tell you this. For those that are living today, America will not be even close to being fair for the next 100 years. So now you know. Everybody know. Everybody that is here planning to have a family, planning at some point or another to actually have children and to have a legacy, I'm telling you right now, for at least the next 100 years, America will not be fair. So therefore, if that is what you are looking for, you should actually start preparing now to move to a fair country. I don't know where the fuck that is, but you should start moving there. Get your shit together, research, and go there. Go find fair country. Go find fair land. I don't know where it's at. I'm just suggesting that you now, because you know what it is, and you know it ain't gonna change for at least the next 100 to 200 years. So you will never see it. Those of you that are listening to my words, hearing my voice right now, you will never see America being fair. So just move now to the country that is. Move now to that country so that you can have the fairness that you see. Get your passport, renounce your citizenship to here, renounce it all, and just go to that country. I don't care if it's Britain. I don't care if it's Nigeria, Liberia, Tanzania. I don't know where the fuck it is. I'm just telling you now. Having the mindset and the expectation of America being fair, it ain't gonna happen for at least 200 years. So just fucking move now. For the sake of you and your life and those that are coming after you, leave. Move. Get the fuck out. Push on. Kick rocks. Get out of here. Whatever it is. However you want to take it. Now is the time to leave because you now know the truth. Go and leave. So the point of trying to make the point of America being fair, trying to make the point of black folks getting treated fairly, it is a moot point now because this place will never be fair. I don't know about the rest of the world. I'm just saying, just go there now. Get your shit and go there now. Turn off this show, pack your shit, and go now. Close your computer down and just get on your phone and finish listening to me on the phone and get out now. Pack your shit, box it up, pack it up and just go there now. Because this country, for at least the next 200 years, will never be fair. That's all I'm saying. So now you know. So we don't have to bring it up anymore. You don't have to bring up being fair. You don't have to bring up treating us right. You don't have to bring that shit up ever again. We already know. I done told your ass. For at least the next 200 years, this country will never be fair. No chance. All right? Okay.
Response to that. That is obviously true that the nation has fallen short of our promise since our founding. But walk through some obvious facts about America. We're not founded on an ethnicity or a monarch or a food or even a religion. We're founded on a set of ideals that brought a group of people together in 1776, and we live by those ideals. At least we aspire to those ideals today. A nation that aspires to ideals that's not made up of gods, but made up of human beings, will always fall short of those ideals. So I think our worst hypocrisies as a country, and we have many of them, our worst hypocrisies are our best evidence that we have ideals at all. You take a look at other countries. Nobody ever calls the Chinese Communist Party a hypocrite, or China a hypocrite, or Iran a hypocrite. Why is that? Because to be a hypocrite, you at least had to have ideals in the first place.
For those of you who may not know, I know I'm dropping bombs tonight. I got to get a bomb drop on here. That's what I got to do. I'm dropping bombs tonight. But America was never, ever, hear this, America was never, ever set up to be the promised land or the perfect land or the perfect country. Never intended. It was never that intention. America, the U.S. of A., it is an idea. And I feel the need to say that because that makes things, or should put things, into a different perspective. And the first time that I learned that, it made me look at this country in a totally different way. America is an idea. And that idea is based on freedom and the pursuit of freedom and liberty and justice for all. It's not that it's guaranteed. It's basically the idea. It's the goal. It's the end game. This is where we want to get to. And all I will say is this. If you're not happy here, if this ain't for you, then I would simply say all you need to do is go to where it is. That's it. Go to the place where it's better. Find that place where it's better. Find that place where you can say, hey, this is a better place than America. And all I'm saying is once you find that, go there. That makes sense. I'm just saying it makes sense. If I can say this, I'm just saying, about 5 years ago, no, actually longer than that, about 7 years ago, I decided that I did not want to live in Michigan anymore. And the reason why, the number one driving factor as to why I didn't want to live in Michigan anymore was the weather. One thing. It was one thing. One thing that made me say, I don't want to live here no more. And that one thing is what sparked me to move and to make a decision to move. And my idea of saying I don't want to live because of the weather, I know that the weather ain't gonna change. It's still gonna be cold. It's still gonna be rainy. and it's still going to be an overcast the majority of the time in Michigan. Michigan may give you, maybe, Southwest Michigan, where I was, may give you 2.5 to 3 months of fair weather. Notice I said fair, ranging from above 65 and sunny. You might get 6 weeks of that. You might get 6 weeks of that. And in between that 6 to 8 week time frame, it's going to be a point to where there's a lot of extremes. So it'll be extremely hot and humid in 2 of those weeks or whatever, 3 of those weeks. Then at other times it's going to be raining, even though it's hot. And other times it's going to be an overcast, even though it's still hot. So you ain't going to get no, hey, clear sunshine, you don't get that in Michigan. I know that ain't changing. However, I want a change. So I said, I'm going to find a place that's going to be better for what it is that I'm searching for. That's it. So I moved to where the weather was better and more conducive to my preference. I like it hot. I like sunshine. I like a good breeze. I like wonderful weather. So therefore, I moved. That's it. He says, how about a fight? What the fuck does that mean? How about a fight? I don't understand that. Never a victim, I'll fight. How about you? Oh, I guess somebody saw. All right, so we can curb that shit. When you're saying it ain't it ain't fair, right? Why play? Here's my thing. Bob, can you tell me what country and what state you live in? But getting back to my point, I moved because I wanted better weather. New York, okay. So if you don't like it, Brooklyn, all right, I got you. If you don't like it, Bob, why not leave? If it's not to your liking, why not just leave? Why not move, go somewhere else where it's better, whether that's in another state or another country? Why not leave? Yeah, I get it. Why not burn it down? Okay, if you're going to burn it down, what you waiting on? I love when motherfuckers say, sometimes you got to burn this down, man, to get things right. What you waiting on? Your fingers are obviously working. You got hands. What's taking so long then, Bob? It's happening. What's taking so long? That's all I'm saying. We have this thing to where we have gotten, and hear me when I say this, we've gotten so privileged to where we complain and we talk shit to and about the very same place that gave us the opportunity, the right, and the privilege to complain and talk shit about. That's my thing. We do that shit today. We have gotten so entitled, and because we don't know, and we have not had to suffer like our forefathers did, to where we've gotten to the point and we've gotten so entitled to where we talk shit about the very motherfuckers, the very house that we live in is the very house that we talk shit about. This motherfucker said Rome wasn't built in a day. All right. See what I mean? That's all I'm saying. It's like having a child in your home that's telling you how shitty of a parent you are, but still living in your house, still living, and you providing food, clothing, and shelter for them, and they still there. Talking shit about you. I ain't got shit, and all the shit I have, you done gave me, but I'm gonna talk shit about you while I'm in your house. I ain't gonna go get my own shit and then talk shit about you. Nope, I'm gonna talk shit about you while I'm in your house. And all I'm saying is this. Who the fuck does that? Me? By my wish creed? I wish a motherfucker would. I wish my kids would talk shit to me in my house about the shit that I do. Not asking questions and not challenging me on my decisions or my thoughts or my ideas. I'm talking about talking shit. Calling me names, telling me I'm racist, telling me that I ain't fair, telling me that I'm this or I'm that, and you in my shit. While you eating my food, drinking my water, surfing on my internet, wearing my clothes that I bought, driving my car, and living in my space that I provide. I wish a motherfucker would. I wish a kid of mine would. That's how we've gotten, as these liberal Americans, they've gotten to that point. Just like that bitch Brittany Griner talk cash shit about America. America ain't this. America don't love me. America ain't this. America is racist. America, this ain't my country. My country, I don't support this at all. America is not a good country. America's this. Take your ass over to Russia and fuck up. What's she doing? Please, President, please, America, come save me. Please, America, help me. Please, please, America. America, where y'all at? Please. America, please help. See what I mean? That's my point. Talking cash shit until you go somewhere else and see what the fuck it's really like in the world, and then say, oh, you know what? That America thing ain't too bad. Let me get on back over here. Let me get back home. Now America's your home. Now she's proud to be an American. 'Cause I get to say what I want. You try to get me to go any place, and I'ma tell you that I won't. Yeah. Bitch ain't heard shit from that bitch now since she been back, has she? 'Cause she saw how real it can be. She saw how fucked up it is. One of the things that people don't understand about not just America, but the world, and I'm gonna keep saying this, the world, including America, it is not a nice place. People aren't going to treat you nicely and fairly in the world. There are people that will do things to you just because they can. So this concept and idea that it's supposed to be all peaches and cream and it's supposed to be all rainbows and sunshine and unicorns, it's a delusion. It is a delusion. It's not a thing, and when people get complacent of that, it's a problem. It's a problem. When you get to think that, oh, everybody's supposed to be nice to me. Everybody should love me and accept me for who I am. No, they don't. And no, they won't. Because they don't have to. Do you realize that in the days of old, back during the Crusades was led not because, oh, well, I believe that, we should be as Christians, should just save the whole world. No, they did it because they could. We got enough blades. We got enough men. We can take over whatever the fuck we want. You think Genghis Khan was a nice person? Genghis Khan did what he did because he could. Why the fuck would you think that, oh, he has to be fair and he has to do this and Genghis Khan has to be fair and has to listen to people. Yeah, all right. And just like that comment that Bob made, Rome wasn't built in a day, relax. And then he turns around and says 30 shot in Baltimore, it's falling down. Ain't shit he said about anything that he's done. He didn't say, yeah, I shot 30 in Baltimore, I'm tearing it down. Did he? Nope. He's sitting at his computer talking about what they did, what they said, what they gained. Shout out to my brother. What they built, what they did, what they gained. He wants to live off somebody else's laurels. Shout out to Tommy Schroeder, my oil. But I'm just saying, that's the idea that we have, and that's the comfort that we're in, to where you can talk shit and ain't gotta do shit, but you can still talk shit in the very same space and on the very same platform that is giving you the opportunity to talk shit about them. I'm done with that rant.
But a lot of
And
those
so we're
ideas-
imperfect, but we are about the pursuit of a more perfect union, the pursuit of happiness. America's about the pursuit. And so I think
Are
that
we,
trashing
though?
ourselves, I think we are
The reason I
actually.
say that is because, we never were included in those ideals originally.
Originally.
Yeah.
But never and not originally are two different things. Originally, that's true. Over 250 years of progress, if you had somebody who was in 1870 looking at the world we live in today, if you had somebody in 1960 who was looking at the world we live in today as it relates to race in America, we would be darn close to what they would have thought of as the promised land.
Bing bang.
If that ain't a mic drop moment, I don't know what is. That's the truth. Like he said, what it was then and what it is today. What it was then and what it is today. Yes, Charlemagne is correct. We were not included in the idea and in the original idea of this whole thing. We weren't. And you know why we weren't? Because we weren't here. We weren't over here trying to say, hey, we're going to start a whole new thing over here. Now, a motherfucker will sit back and say, see, brother, you don't know your history. Black folks was over here. Black folks, the kings and queens of Mansa Musa, they came over here. They showed the Indian people over here how to do all this. All the Aztec stuff you see, that's all African inspired. I get that part. But when he's talking about the colonization of America, the colonization of North America, niggas was not at the table. Niggas wasn't thought of to say, yeah, this gonna be a part for black folks to come. No. Wasn't our idea. Initially, when America was being colonized, we weren't even considered as the slave force to help build this motherfucker. We weren't. Excuse me. Initially, it was the Native Americans that they tried to enslave. However, the Native Americans resisted to the point to where they said, fuck it, we got to go get somebody else and kill all these motherfuckers off. And I wonder who helped them out in that situation. Who? Our good old black brothers and sisters over on the motherland sold our asses and wrapped our asses up and bundled our asses together and sold us for pennies on the dollar to who? The white man. Wait a minute, Brian. Are you saying that Africans played a part in the slave trade? Yes. Wait a minute, Brian. Are you saying that it was Africans that sold us to the whites? Yes. That's just what it is. That shit. Nah. I want to feed off the decay of society. I contributed my part. Do yours. Stupidity at its finest. But that's what it is.
So I think we have to recognize that America is about that pursuit. We're a lot further along than we were 250 years ago. And here's the other thing, too. We got to set our expectations. We will always fall short of our ideals. By definition, if there are human beings and not gods living in a nation that aspires to ideals, we are fallen. Man is fallen. That's what makes us who we are. But what also makes us different from animals is that we have ideals. So America's founded on our humanity, that we can believe and aspire to something that we will still fall short of. That's what makes this country beautiful. And that's why that's why I'm in this. You ask me, why am I in this? I care about reviving pride in that nation, because if we get into the habit of just bashing that country, what are we bashing? We're bashing the last best hope that man has for aspiring to those ideals. Tell me who else has done better. I'll wait.
I don't think I'm bashing the country. I think
Yes, you are. And here's what he's saying. And this is my own personal ideas. All I'm trying to do is to be better. I can't try to be better while I'm steady talking about what happened in a time that I wasn't even alive in. I can't talk about being better when I'm complaining about what had happened back then when I wasn't even a thought. What I can control is right now. What I can control is today. What I can control is the gift that I have, which is today. That is why we call it the present. I learned that from Oogway in Kung Fu Panda. Yeah. Just listen to that. What I can control and the gift that I have is today, the present, the now, what is here in front of me today. Yes, I can acknowledge what has happened. Yes, I can look back on history to see what was done. But what I do and what matters most than all of the other shit is not what's going on in the future. It's not what's happened in the past. It's what I do today in the present. And what you talking about is a motherfucker who's sitting here talking about, yeah, I think it's the racism because we wasn't at the table when this first thing started. And you talking about a motherfucker who's saying today I'm trying to run for president so I can help change some shit. Today, I'm running for president so that I can bring about some form of change and make life better for those that are coming after me. That's the difference. And I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I'm always going to be on that side of the fence of who's trying to do something to change shit to make it better today than the motherfucker that's talking about what had happened was. And we still got to look at the 400 years. We still got to bring acknowledgement to the 400 years. It's the whole 250 years of slavery, man. It's the 400 years of slavery, man. It's the slavery, man. It's the slavery, man. It's the slavery, man. That ain't getting us nowhere. Because we've been doing that for how many years? And tell me what it's gotten us.
I'm bashing the system.
Okay.
I want to change. I want to change the system.
Okay, if you want to change the system, then what the fuck are you doing to change the system? And make that your focus. Make that your talking point. Instead of blaming is white racism. The biggest threat to the black man is white racism. The biggest threat to America is white racism. The biggest threat is white and it's racism. Or racism and whites. White racism, racism and white. No matter how you put it, it's one of those two things and not both of them together. Race hustling. I'm going to hustle this race thing to get to where I want to be and to keep myself on the level that I'm at and get or higher. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say everything is racist. I'm going to say black folks, you got to watch out because the racist people is steadily getting us. They're killing us while I'm getting rich. Y'all getting mad and he getting rich. That's exactly what he's doing. He's saying shit to get niggas mad while he's getting rich.
Well, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm with you on changing the system. It's what brings me into this.
And what's your thoughts on some of the people that you're running against, Donald Trump and DeSantis? What are your thoughts on them and their leadership and what they've done for the country so far?
You know, I think everybody's made their respective contributions. I respect some things about what each of them have done. I think the Republican Party, I tell this to conservative audiences all the time, obsesses over the question of the who. You know, Ronna McDaniel, she was the chair of the Republican Party versus somebody else, or Kevin McCarthy or somebody else, or Donald Trump or somebody else. This is a superficial discussion versus actually just taking a step back, and the Republican Party does not do this enough. What do we stand for, and why do we stand for it? Actually, a lot of my criticisms are also directed at the fact that we define ourselves. When I say we, I'm running as a Republican, but as a party in opposition to something. All right, that's what Joe Biden did. That's what the radical left does. And race, gender, sexuality, climate. I'm opposed to a lot of these ideologies of identity, but the right falls into the trap of just saying we're not those things. And then we'll fight about which biographies win. Oh, I'm actually a bigger and more accomplished person than you, and I'm going to sling mud at you.
And that's the thing about politics. It's literally a dramatic soap opera that is being played, and we are the audience and sit and watch it and cheer it on every fucking day. We let people talk about and point fingers at this. Oh, they did this. Oh, they did that. Oh, they got this. Oh, they got that. When they're doing the same thing or worse in some instances. And we sit back and we watch it, and then we be like, see, this is why. Or this is why this. Or that is why that. That's my problem with both parties. They're playing the fucking game, and they're playing on our emotions. They're banking on it. He a racist. Yeah, that's right. We can't vote for him because he's racist. Well, who said he's racist? They said it. Well, what has he done that's racist? Man, it don't matter, man. He racist. Shit. Can you tell me when? Back in 1983, he did some. Nigga, you talking 30 years ago, 40 years ago? That's what you talking about? Oh, so a nigga can't change. A motherfucker can't change, and whatever they did back in the 80s, he put $20,000 up on the Central Park 5. Nigga, that was back in the fucking 80s. You still holding that against a nigga? Okay, if that's what you gonna do, then how about the president that you voted for, Joe Biden, gave the eulogy to a fucking grand wizard of the Klan back in the fucking 80s? Back in the fucking 70s. He wrote the bill and championed the bill that locked up the most niggas since slavery, ever. You ain't holding that against him, now is you? Just saying.
This is asking the question of, what do we actually stand for? For me, it's about individual, family, nation, God. You can agree or disagree, but at least that's a vision that's different from a vision of identity grounded on race and gender and sexuality and climate. And so that's a long way of saying, I guess, what I see is deficient in the field, and entire Republican field, including candidates you mentioned, is they're all running from something. And I'm in this race because I want us to run to something.
What is that something?
A vision of what it means to be American. Okay? Revive the ideals of 1776. Revive the truth. Meritocracy, excellence, freedom of speech, rule of law, a radical idea. This is not a Democrat or Republican idea, that the people we elect to run the government ought to at least be the ones who actually run the government. That's not the case today. You want to talk about fixing the system. You want to talk about one of the myths where we fall short of our ideals. We're taught in school that we have 3 branches of government. They're irrelevant compared to who actually runs the government. It's a 4th branch of government of 3-letter agencies in Washington, D.C. That is a formula for corruption. Corruption we get. That's a system we need to break down.
Who are those 3?
I mean, you could go down the list. SEC, FDA, EPA, TSA. The thousands, the tens of thousands of government bureaucrats working in Washington, D.C., they're the ones who actually make the laws. It's not Congress. And that's a formula. And those people aren't elected. Nobody elected them. They're protected by these what are called civil service protections, which means even the president, technically, under many people's beliefs, can't fire them. That's the permanent state, what many in the right will call the deep state. I think that's a problem.
Disagree if you want. But how? That is something that makes sense to me. I'm just saying. Makes sense to me. The 3-letter agencies or the letters FBI, CIA, SEC, FCC, all of those different agencies, IRS. That's my point. I mean, he makes a great point, and I can't disagree with it. They are above reproach. You get ATF, thank you. It's like he ain't I see no lies told here so far. Just saying. AOL. I'm just bullshitting.
I think that falls short of our ideals. I think the same FBI that threatened Martin Luther King with suicide on the back of incorrectly collected tapes is now committing, I would say hypocrisy and corrupt actions against people of a different political persuasion that the FBI doesn't like today. I just think it's a formula for corruption when you have unelected bureaucrats that are actually setting policy. But that's a detail compared to my point, which is we need to revive the ideals that the nation was actually founded on and do a better job of aspiring to them.
Now we have Teslin Figueroa. I'm sure Teslin has some questions. Tez, you good?
Yes, I do. So I
Now, here is where, because like right at this point, up until this point, this was basically just a conversation that was being had and a difference of opinion. However, when you enter a black bitch that's trying to motherfucking get a name for herself or whatever the fuck she's doing, not to say that she has to agree with him, but just listen as to how she speaks, her mannerism, and the attitude that she has for somebody that she just disagrees with, because she don't know this nigga. Somebody that she just disagrees with, and the level of disrespect that she just instantly has. Roll 'em.
I've heard a lot of, what you think and your vision, and I'm a very practical person, and I want to kind of, opposed to talking about your opponents, let's talk about you for a moment, and let's actually talk about your policy. Explain to me your position on this civic duty voting.
Sure. So my position is, I think that every kid who graduates from high school should know the minimums about the country that we require an immigrant to know about the country in order to become a citizen. So there's a test. My mom had to pass it. Every immigrant has to pass it to this country that asks you some basic questions. What are the three branches of government? What branch of government does the U.S. president lead? Some basic questions about what is the Bill of Rights. It's like a multiple choice exam, or some of them you write in. I think.
Now, I can clearly remember that I had to be able to know the branches of government, and this was me in 8th grade, the branches of government, the Pledge of Allegiance, and had to be able to recite the preamble in order to graduate 8th grade. That was a requirement that our history teacher, Mr. Roberts, shout out to Mr. Roberts, coolest motherfucker teacher I ever seen. Nigga wore sunglasses inside every day. And nigga was a cool ass motherfucker. But I'm just saying, every day, every year, everybody in 8th grade, in order for your ass to graduate, you had to know that. You had to know the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Pledge of Allegiance, and you had to recite the preamble. Like every student, like you had to learn it, and then there was a day when you had to come and say it in front of the class in order to pass. Just saying. So
I think that if we're going to ask immigrants to pass that test, as we should, I think every 18-year-old who graduates from high school should have to pass that as well, because young people, it goes back to that issue of pride. You don't value a country that you don't know something about. You don't value something you inherit. You value something you have a stake in creating, in building, or knowing something about. So how do we think big about this? Well, young people, as I told you, most of them, very few of them vote as it stands today. Super small numbers. And apparently 60% of them say they would rather give up their right to vote than give up TikTok. Well, I say, all right, let's take that to the next level. How about we do something that raises the voting age from 18 to 25, but you still get to vote at 18 if you just pass that same civics test that an immigrant has to pass in order to vote. And tests aren't for everybody, so be it. Then you at least serve in the military or a first responder role for 6 months.
now I disagree with that. I do not agree that that's what you should have to do in order to be able to vote. However, I will say this. I believe, and if I was the president, if I was the king of the country, everyone everyone, once they graduate from high school, should have to serve at least 2 years in the military. Yup. You got to do 2 years in the military. So that means if you're going to go to college, you can after you do these 2 years. Here's why. Number one, it gives everyone the opportunity to serve their country, that they have the same expectation for their country to serve them. Number two, when you talk about things like being able to protect yourself, being able to protect this country, being able to fight, being able to handle weapons, being able to understand how the country works, being able to understand things like how the law works, all of those things, I think that the military gives you a great sense of structure, discipline, physical fitness, all of those things. Here's the other part to that. Yes, like similar to what Israel does. Here's the other part to that. If you physically cannot serve because of some physical ailment or because of some mental disorder, which will only be the two qualifying things that will keep you from doing it, hold on, then you have to actually serve in something like some type of civil service. You got to go work somewhere and do some type of civil service. You have to do something in order to say, hey, I worked for and served the government. A job. Yup. So whether you go and do what's the name of that shit? I can't think of the name of it. God damn. Shit. I can't think of it. But you have to do something for the country. You have to serve in civil service in some shape, form, or fashion. Just what it is. That's just what it is. So
that's my civic duty voting proposal. And the reason is, I'll actually make a prediction. I think youth voting in this country will skyrocket. From a very low level right now, it will skyrocket because you value something you actually have to earn.
And also, I will say, with that being said, there is nothing that an 18-year-old who serves this country, anybody that turns 18, you are considered a full-fledged adult and you have your rights and access to everything. Liquor, guns, whatever the case may be, you can go and serve this country and put your life on the line. There is no restriction that you have to where you got to be 21 to be able to drink, whatever the case may be. Nope. Your ass got the Job Corps. Thank you. Something like that. You got to go do something where you serving the people.
And I think that this is not a left-wing or right-wing point. We all have duties as citizens, right? You know, we aspire to free market capitalism, right? Materialist advance. And that's the life I've lived as well, by the way. My parents came to this country with not a lot of money. I've lived the American dream. I've made a lot of money by building businesses. That's one side of what it means to be an American. But part of it is we also have duties to this country. And I think the more we wake that up.
I agree.
Actually, the voting age only became 18 in 1971 in the context of the Vietnam draft. So I just think reviving those ideas is going to be good for us.
A lot. So let's prove your point. Nick, our camera guy, do you know the three branches of the
Nick
federal government?
is over 24, so it don't matter.
But I'm just saying, but nobody knows they're 24. Red, do you know the three branches?
Executive.
Well, I got a test. I got a test.
He did know. He was trying to make the point that they didn't, but he did. I'm just saying, but when you look at, he said, wait, hold on. Nikki said, okay, so my daughter's a nurse. I could actually see her serving in the military. She interned for 3 months on my dime, not counting the college time. It makes sense. Here's what I'm saying, too. This is the other thing, Nikki. When you go into the military, a lot of people don't understand in the military. In the military, you go through basic. After basic, you pretty much go and you get a job in the military. Whether it's culinary, whether it's carpentry, whether it's plumbing, whether it's computers, whatever the case may be. So you actually go into the military. After you go through basic, you learn a trade. Military, police, whatever the case may be. And my thing is, too, you don't necessarily have to go into, you can get 4 different branches to go into. And I mean, well, I would say you can do those 4, and you can say, hey, once I do my 2 years, then I can go do something else. And I would even be okay with you going to the National Guard. So that would be 5 choices that you would have. You can go to the National Guard, Air Force, Navy, Marines, or the Army. And you go there, you go through basic. Basic is what? Is basic 6 weeks? Or is basic 12 weeks? I think basic is 12. I think it's 3 months for basic. I don't know. Somebody help me. I didn't go. I wish that I would have went to the military for 2 years. Even if I would have did what's the reserves? Even if I would have did that. But it's like once you go through basic and get to your first deployment, you 6 months in anyway. So you really only serving like a year and a half where you can actually go get some action. But the thing is, it's like that's enough time for you, because when you get out, you 20, you're more disciplined, hopefully in better shape, and you're in a position to where you have more of an idea of what you want to do and what you want to be in life. And there's a lot of tools and a lot of things that you've learned from the military that you may not have been taught at home. Mental toughness, perseverance, how to overcome, trials and tribulations. Just saying. Yeah, you're right, Aaron said, but military isn't all frontline bang bang, so even if disabled, they can still cook. Yeah, you're right, but everybody gotta learn how to shoot that thing first in military. You gotta go through basic. You gotta be able to function as a soldier first. Then all the other shit that you go and do is secondary, but you gotta be able to function as a soldier first. So yeah, unfortunately, that's why I said there could be physical ailments that can keep you from being able to do just that. But there are other ways that you can serve. So, yeah. But I can't remember how long. Somebody can help me. I know there's some military people in here. Somebody that went to the military, hopefully is watching. Can somebody tell me how many weeks is basic, or how long is basic for? I thought it was 3 months, but I'm not sure. Please, somebody can help me.
Yes, I would like to see if you're willing to pass, because I believe in, just as you believe in civic engagement.
So here she goes. She says, I got a test that I want to see if you can pass. Okay? All right.
I believe in changing the ideas of what political opponents look like, what they should look like, or political candidates. Are you willing to take a test with me quickly? Because I just have a couple of questions for you.
I will, absolutely.
So
and the way this is opening up, I have a feeling I'm about to fail it, but that's good.
And there you go. So, but still game, right?
Let's do it.
That's right. Yeah. So just for clarity, I am an independent. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican.
Cool.
I think that's important for the premise of the argument, because I know you did a lot of debating at Harvard. I also want to make it clear these are the same questions that I asked liberal Democrat Marianne Williamson. So I want to make sure that we put that out there as well, just to kind of set the foundation.
I'm
for the
open
test.
to being humbled. Let's do this.
Okay, great. Let's go. So you mentioned,
all respect, right? Just saying, somebody, and you tell me somewhere different. All respect, right now.
The pride of being an American and how important it is to have pride in this country. I'm also a veteran, by the way, for the United States Air Force. So when is it that you voted for the first time?
I voted in 2020.
Okay, so you're how old again?
I'm 37 years old.
So for how many years you sat around and did not get involved at all in any civic engagement? Is that my understanding?
A long time is the answer. And actually, that's what I wrote this.
In all actuality, that's what, 19 years? Yeah. If he's 37, 10 years. Oh, no. That's 27. 29 years. Yeah. Right? Let me make sure of that. Hold on. Yeah. So he's 37 now. minus 19 years. No, that's right. 19 years. He hasn't voted. He didn't vote for 19 years. Cool. All right. Yep. Great point.
This book about. I'm not holding myself out as some sort of model. I'm actually offering myself as a self-reflection of my journey as a citizen to whom this country has given much, right? As an adult, when you have kids, it changes your perspectives. I'm very honest about that. Absolutely.
Okay, no problem. So let's go deeper into the self-reflection. So you've sat around for, and sir, I'm being as respectful as I possibly can. Please
So she said you sat around. Okay.
don't take anything
And you don't even have to be. And you don't even
Yeah.
have to be. So take it
Yeah.
off and let's go.
So you've been sitting around in the country that my ancestors built for.
This bitch done.
What the fuck does that mean? So you've been sitting around that my ancestors, not you, bitch, that my ancestors built. You ain't built a goddamn thing. Why even bring that up? Why is that even a point of contention in your test to where you got to bring that up on what your ancestors did?
About 20 years, your parents came over as immigrants, brought you over. You made millions, according to your resume, off of this country, and you have absolutely not been involved in civics. One, not voting, and two, let me just ask, because I know you mentioned earlier you don't want to sit around at the debate and talk about accomplishments. Let's make the accomplishments pretty simple. In high school, were you ever a class president or take any leadership role? Because your opponent did, Chris Christie. He was the class president. So
Yeah, I
have you
did.
ever
I mean,
taken any leadership at all on
I have-
anything, or just...
Can I just correct a couple factual?
So her question is, have you had or ever been in any leadership role? Now, this dude is a multi-millionaire or a billionaire, one of the two. I think he's a millionaire. So you tell me what millionaire ain't been in a leadership role, if that's the point. But she's asking about high school, right? Being in a leadership role. And my point is this. What the fuck does that have to do with being a fucking president? Is there a requirement for the president to have been head of the student body in high school or in elementary school, being on the student council? What the fuck does that mean? And this is the shit I be talking about, where you got somebody who is on a platform of this size, of this level, asking such a fucking petty and just has no point. This question means nothing one way or the other. Because if I was on the student council, I'm more qualified to be a president than if I wasn't. If I was in the National Honor Society in high school, I'm going to be a better president. And if I wasn't, I'm not. I don't qualify. What the fuck difference does that make?
Things that are kind of important. My parents didn't bring me over to the country. I was
Okay,
born in
scratch
this
that off
country,
then.
and I'm proud
No,
of that.
no, I know you were born here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio.
You mentioned my
I'm
parents
saying your
brought me
parents
o-
were immigrants.
You said-
He's correcting her. Bitch, you said my parents brought me over here, which she did say. He was born here. He's an American. Period. Say what you want. Talk how you feel. You were incorrect. But what she gonna do? She gonna overtalk and try not to acknowledge the point.
My apologies.
and that's all right. You said your parents brought
She did apologize, though. I will say that. She apologized.
you over to this country. I
Yeah,
thought I
my
would set that
apologies.
record straight.
I mean, they were immigrants, but let's
They
not
were
go down the
immigrants.
water
Oh,
hole.
no. We're not going to water hole. I just want to correct a couple facts. And then the other thing is
You were born here in Ohio.
I was
correct?
born in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's right.
Right. So
Yeah.
you've been here your entire life. So the question
That's
is,
right.
did you take any leadership role in middle school, high school, class president?
I did,
I know
yeah.
you played tennis. What is it? Explain it to us.
Student council. But I think that this is yes, I've held leadership roles over my life, but those don't qualify me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
That-
Exactly.
Bing bong.
Exactly. That shit don't she's really trying to make a point that isn't a point. And I'm just saying this. That's stupid. That's stupid that you're wasting time to even ask this question that you've gotten an answer for, but you're just making a point for no reason, trying to make it to where he's not qualified. She's literally trying to disqualify this person for not being the president, but even fucking running for president. Because I didn't do a fucking group in high school or in elementary school? What the fuck difference does that make? Bitch, I'm a grown-ass man. What I did in high school and what I did in elementary school, you mean to tell me that that's something of importance about me running the country?
This bitch got me.
Are you serious?
It kind of does.
Okay,
Well, it
well,
kind of does. Well, I'm giving the test. I'm the test
Okay,
administrator.
all right, there you go.
So it kind of does, because when you go from saying I want to go to the highest office,
And I'll tell you,
of the
I've led companies as well. Is the other leader?
Right,
The
well,
main leadership
right, but-
role I played is and I want to talk about one early part of your premise that I also want.
And here's my thing too, because he should have just let her fucking talk. Because I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times, and this is just one of those things that I would just suggest to anybody that's having a discussion in just the art of conversation. The art of conversation, yes, there should be, equal discourse to where you say something and I respond, you say something and I respond. But sometimes, especially when you talking with a motherfucker that don't know what the fuck they talking about, sometimes you gotta let themselves talk themselves into a hole or talk themselves into a corner that they can't get out of. And he should have just shut up right there and let her motherfucking ass talk. Because once she does get a chance to talk, watch what the fuck she says.
Want to say, bring it to the country point. The other point, you use the word sitting around. I'm not somebody who's saying I want the next generation, my kids' generation, to have more civic duties when they graduate from high school and college than I did when I did. That being said, I wasn't sitting around. I've developed medicines, 5 of which are FDA-approved products today, one of which is a life-saving therapy in kids, 20 of whom die by the age of 3 if they're not treated, 70% of whom now live lives of a normal duration. Another one for prostate cancer. So I don't apologize for making contributions. But
right. Well, I don't want you to filibuster that,
No worries.
because
Just
that's not the
sitting-
question that I asked. And I don't consider, as a veteran, I'm talking about service. I'm not talking about what you
Civic
did for
service,
profit. I'm not talking about what you paid people to do with
Yeah.
your
So I've
company. I'm
not
not talking
served-
about
I've
that
not served the country
because that
in the way
means
you have.
nothing to me.
You do
what I'm
realize
talking,
she
what
hasn't
I
been
am
able to ask a question. She's been trying to
Go
ask
for
a
it,
question,
yeah.
and
And here go this simp ass nigga here. This simp ass nigga here. Here he go.
you've been talking over her.
I'm
and
all
you-
ears.
We gave you the platform to let you say
Seems
what
a little
you said.
defensive.
I'm all ears. No,
she
no,
hasn't-
I was just
she hasn't-
correcting a couple
She hasn't had a chance
facts,
to
that's
ask a
all.
question yet. Every
Go
time
ahead,
she
Ted,
tries
ask
to
the
ask a
question.
question, you've been cutting her off. Good.
I'm all ears.
Right. So your question. So my question again is: you're trying to your goal is to raise the standard, and you're saying you want people to believe in country, and you want people to have civic engagement. And sir, I just find it very telling that you haven't had any civic engagement at all, and haven't been at all. And when I say sit around, I don't mean you haven't done anything. I'm talking about in regards to service. Because one thing about political office, the same way that you want to change how people look at politics and look at this country, I want to change how people look at politicians. And when I see that someone hasn't did anything at all to be of service to mankind, to take a leadership role, it's not good enough to just be on city student council. Were you a leader? All of that applies. Have you been able to get anybody in the room at any time, from a high school gymnasium to Ohio, Republican leadership there to now? Have you been able to get any?
Why does she have to say Republican leadership there? She asked initially, has he done anything? He said yes and told her what it was. Now she's going back and she's literally moving the goalpost, which, hey, I'm gonna let her move it. You gonna move the goalpost and say you haven't done anything to actually serve society. So I developed not one, but 2 medicines that not only help save lives, prolong lives, and that don't count as serving society? So I guess the motherfucker that came up with the fucking chickenpox vaccination didn't serve. That ain't service. That ain't serving society. I guess the motherfucker that came up with fucking aspirin ain't serving society. The motherfucker that came up with whatever fucking procedure to fucking help save lives, whatever fucking medical breakthrough to help save lives, that ain't serving society? How the fuck does she decide to say, well, if it ain't civil service, then that ain't really important. You ain't really served. That's like literally said, by that logic, that's like you saying a motherfucker that invented the cell phone ain't serving society. Nigga revolutionized motherfucking how we communicate. The motherfuckers who invented the internet revolutionized the way people connect across the fucking world. They ain't serving society. And my other point is, and I'm gonna say it, even though I ain't served, bitch, you served in the fucking Air Force. What the fuck did you do? You wasn't no pilot. So what the fuck did you do in the Air Force? Like she was on fucking SEAL Team 6 or some shit like that. It's like, hey, yeah, you served. Salute to you and thank you for your service. But don't make it seem like what you did was just totally free of everything. You didn't get paid. You didn't get no benefits. You ain't using no veteran benefits now. I just gave my 4 years and didn't get nothing in return. And here I am because I love my country. Bitch, you got paid for fucking working in the service. Fuck you mean? You getting benefits today as a veteran for your time you served in the service. Your 4 years you did. Bitch, go do 3 tours in a motherfucking war, then come back and talk shit like you trying to talk shit now. It's like, man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. What I did in the fucking reserves as a sheriff, I put my life on the line way more fucking time than you did. Because whatever the fuck you did in the service aside from flying a fucking plane in wartime, bitch, you ain't been in no situation where your life was on the line. You wasn't in the infantry in the army. It's like, come on. Don't try to, and my only reason why I'm saying that, I'm not trying to belittle her service at all. I'm just trying to say, don't make it seem like you did something that was way up here when it wasn't. Them motherfuckers that was going over to motherfucking Iraq, them motherfuckers that was going over to motherfucking Kuwait and all that shit, them niggas was serving in wartime, and them niggas was on the front line. I'm sorry, but the Air Force has not and never has ever been the front line. Aside from the pilots, the motherfuckers who fly people in and out of shit, who bomb shit, those motherfuckers I will say are front line. But bitch, you ain't do shit that was front line. And that's probably why she didn't say what she did in the Air Force to even prove that. So don't make it seem like you served society on a higher level than what he's done for society. At the end of the day, he's made society better by what he has brought to society. He's made society better by what he did. Just like you did, ma'am. You showing up for 4 years and working your job in the fucking military as an Air Force, whatever the fuck you was. I don't care if you was an administrator and did HR work. You still helped the country be better by doing what you did every morning. And you got paid for it. So don't try to make it seem like the fact that this motherfucker created some shit that helped people's lives, benefited people's lives, and he got paid for it less than what you did. Because that's bullshit.
Anybody in the room to believe in this vision. I don't agree with a lot of your vision statement, but I do know you've been going around having these discussions and getting everybody emotionally worked up to talk about vision and debate. But I want to get to the practical. You're trying to go from preschool to president of the United States. You're skipping over city council, county council, mayor, governor. You want to go straight to the top. So,
and is that illegal? How is that problematic? And to even further the point, I would more so appreciate somebody doing that as opposed to going through the ranks and making alliances and becoming beholden to people that are in politics to where when they get there, they on that Joe Biden shit. I got 50 years of proven a politician experience. Why would she just... I mean, you're talking about trying to hold people to the fire, hold people accountable. You're trying to make it seem like that's a bad thing. And it's actually a thing we should all be encouraging. I don't want no seasoned politician that done been through the ranks to go up here and then become a fucking president. Because he's already full of the bullshit and he's with the fuck shit if he's gotten that far. It's like, why would I want that? Yes. Senator Barack Obama went through the ranks, right? He was a senator, and then he did what for niggas? I'll wait. Email me that. Joe Biden went through the ranks. He did what for niggas? I'll wait. Why would you want someone who is a seasoned politician to go through the ranks and to make that a point of contention to say whether you're qualified or not? That's stupid.
So my question is: this a PR? Is this for the PR, the perception of reality, or can you point to any leadership where you've been able to get people to believe in what you're talking about that they're not paid to do on any of these vision statements that you have? If not, then to me it's a moot point, because you're telling.
And it's not mute. It's moot. It's not mute. It's moot. Moot point. Moot point. Not mute. Moot.
You're holding a standard that you haven't met yourself.
So if you're only going to count government service, you're absolutely
No, not government
right.
service.
Okay.
Student council in the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th. Were you a leader? Did you?
He already told you that he was. He already told you, but she's so hell-bent on her agenda that she didn't even hear what he did say. Because he did say it. And the bitch is still going with the narrative that he didn't and that he has not. And here's my thing. What's wrong with me being in leadership at my job? What's wrong with me being in leadership at my country? What's wrong with me being in leadership in any other aspect? Oh, the fact that I'm not being a free leader is a problem? What leadership role has she served in? What does that matter as to her being able to run for president? You got to get some people to believe in you and what you stand for that don't work for you. Bitch, you think motherfucking Steve Jobs wasn't no leader? You think a Bill Gates wasn't no leader? You think a motherfucker like Elon Musk ain't no leader? That's impossible. What the fuck are you talking about? This is the shit that pisses me off about us that we do, thinking that we doing some shit. Because this bitch really thinks she on point. That's my biggest problem with this shit. She really thinks she on point and that she's holding him to task by talking about some shit that really don't even fucking matter.
Did you do anything to rally anybody? Did you fight for better lunch? I did in the 6th grade with Miss Harris.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about government. I can go all the way back from the 5th grade every year, sir, because people who are in service to this country, if you're going to go around saying you want people to believe in this country that I signed up to die for, then I want to make sure that you're holding that same.
Just because you enlist in the military don't mean that you signing up to die. I can't tell you the last time I seen a high casualty report from the Air Force. I'm sorry, let's call a thing a thing. And even the motherfucking Marines and the Army will say it too. They don't look at Air Force motherfucking veterans and Navy for that matter as the motherfucking frontline killers of the motherfuckers that putting their shit on the line every day. They don't look at them like that. They just don't. Yes, they different motherfucking factions of the military and all that shit. Yes, they matter. I'm not saying they don't. But don't try to act like you signed up to die going to the Air Force. That ain't that. Don't try to tell me that you put your life on the line and you wasn't a pilot in the Air Force. You sitting at home, you sitting on base, motherfucker, your life ain't on the line. I'm sorry, but it's not. Now you tell me you a jarhead, I get it. Yeah, nigga, you went out there looking for that business. You fucked around and was trying to find out. You was in the army, yeah, you was fucking around to find out. Your shit was on the line. Motherfuckers in the Air Force get deployed to other Air Force bases. How many of those get fucked up? Only one I can think of is what's the joint in Hawaii? That's the only one I can think of. You tell me the last time we had some mass casualty reports at an Air Force base. Pearl Harbor, thank you. You tell me the last time we had mass casualties at an Air Force base. So I don't want to hear that shit. It's cool that you served, and I ain't knocking that. But don't try to make it seem like your life was on the line compared to a motherfucking Marine or to a motherfucking Army Ranger. I ain't trying to hear that shit. You full of shit, and you just talking to be talking at that point. Because there's a fucking difference. Laying your ass in a hole in a fucking trench while motherfuckers is trying to actively shoot at your ass is way different than walking around a fucking Air Force base with an M16 on your shoulder, making sure don't nobody come and fuck with the planes. Important job, but don't make it seem like your shit was on the line. It wasn't.
Same standard. So not government, not political. Let's not get it confused. Yeah. I'm saying, have you did anything of service that we can point to say he is a good leader? Like Chris, and I'm not even a fan of Chris Christie, but he was the student council president in high school. So have you done?
She just compared Chris Christie being the student council president. Watch.
Done anything of service besides yourself that has not benefited yourself? It's just a simple question.
So the acts of service that I have performed are small, so small that I don't even want to talk about them to boast. But yes, have I volunteered for this country? Yes, I have. I've always been interested in healthcare.
Let him finish.
Okay, to talk about the small things.
These are small things, right? But thank you.
Oh, well, let's just mention
Bethesda North Hospital.
So it's really a no?
No, it's not a no. It's just something I don't like boasting about. I
well,
volunteered.
We're not boasting. It's an interview. You're boasting on your vision and everything else. I think you boasted on the millions of dollars that you made. So let's just throw it out. So in sixth grade, I'll give you an example.
What does him having the millions of dollars that he's made that she done brought it up twice. She done brought it up twice. Pocket watching. Classic trader niggas. But let's go.
I'll help you out. In sixth grade, Miss Harris, was let me give you an example because maybe you're confused. In the sixth grade, Miss Harris was snatching papers from everybody in the classroom. So me as a 10-year-old, I went to the principal and said, I'm tired of Miss Harris snatching papers. And I organized the students around getting Miss Harris to stop snatching papers. Now, there was a consequence for that. I got suspended for 5 days for talking back, and I got in trouble. I got a spanking, and I was on punishment for months and months. But that is a simple way of organizing people. So I want you to...
What? Are you serious? This is what the fuck she equates service to? This is what the fuck she equated leadership to? Sixth grade papers being snatched. Are you fucking kidding me? This is what I mean when I say niggas, when they get the opportunity to have an opportunity to speak well, they say stupid shit. They talk about shit that don't matter, and it's all about them and they fucking feelings. Because that's all she had to bring to the table. Not one single instance about her service in the military. So she did at least 4 years in the service. Didn't bring none of that up. She talked about her motherfucking ass being in sixth grade, taking on a teacher who was snatching fucking papers. Really? This is why I don't like when niggas get the opportunity to speak, because when they do, they have not prepared they have not prepared themselves to do so, and they don't bring real issues and real facts. They talk about trivial shit. They talk about shit that doesn't really matter, or they talk about moot points. Bitch, you're not gonna equate your sixth grade paper snatching teacher to running the fucking country. It has and will never even be a point to even give as an example of fucking service. Like, and the fact that she was okay with that, and the fact that she spoke about that, it goes to show just our overall level of intelligence and how they will prop a nigga up even when they stupid as fuck, that will just do and say any fucking thing that they want them to say or act in a certain way, and they'll just do it. Her agenda is bullshit. And the narrative she's trying to spin about this man, she should have did way more homework than talk about this as a point of contention for this man running for president. It's stupid. It's childish.
Kind of boast about it the way you did the millions of dollars and said what you did with the pharmaceutical companies. What leadership can you point to that you've been able to rally anybody around anything that is of service that you did not pay anybody to do? I think that's important for the next president of the United States.
Sure. So I've always been drawn to healthcare. That's why I ended up founding companies in that space. When I was in high school, part of what drew me into it was that I was a volunteer at a local hospital. I actually became the leader of that group of volunteers.
Did he not just ask and answered her question for the second time? So he's given her at least 2 instances. He said student council, and he just said now this group that he joined and then became the leader of to help in hospitals. 2. Let's see if it's enough.
That actually discharged women who had recently given birth. That was it. Nothing big to it.
Did you do anything we can point to stand out?
But I want to say something.
She's moving the goalposts again. So you asked if I've served. I tell you that I served, and then you come back and say, is there anything you can point to? What the fuck you expecting him to tell a teacher snatching paper story now? Really, bitch? Are you serious? That's what he's supposed to come and tell now? That's so fucking stupid. And if ain't nobody else seeing that, it just goes to show how much of a bigger problem we have. She's not a Democrat. She says she's an independent. All I'm saying is that what she's talking about is idiotic. It's stupid.
About that, because I say that in the book. If I'm being really honest, why did I do that in high school? A part of the motivation, I'll be just brutally honest with you, was...
He said he's being brutally honest. Okay, let's hear it.
Part of the motivation was that's actually what allows you to get into a good college when you graduate. Is
right,
you want
so
to check
it was
the box
about, so it was about you.
So there was...
So it was about you. So it was about you. Wasn't getting your paper snatched from your teacher in 6th grade about you and your feelings, how it made you feel, how you didn't like it. Wasn't it about Rosa Parks having to move her ass out the front seat of the bus to go to the back of the bus? Wasn't that about her? That started an entire civil rights movement. Wasn't that about her though? Like what's the nigga from Barbershop said? That was just a bitch who was tired and just wasn't for it that day. Because y'all do know that there was another woman before Rosa Parks, but because she wasn't light-skinned and because she had a baby out of wedlock, that they didn't use her and they used Rosa Parks for the same issue. She was just a motherfucker that was tired and didn't want to give up her seat. Wasn't that about her? Stop me when I'm lying. Wasn't that not about her not wanting to get her ass up? Wasn't that her? Was she sitting on that bus refusing to move for everybody? No. That bitch was like, I'm tired and I ain't doing it today. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. But she's trying to lessen the fact that this motherfucker said, yeah, I did that because that shit helped me get into college. Like most motherfucking teenagers that volunteer in fucking high school. They do it to help their college resume. It's called interns. What do you think they're doing shit for? Huh? I volunteer at my church. I volunteer at this organization. I volunteer over here. I volunteer over there. They do it to put it on their college resumes. What the fuck is the problem with that? How is that self-serving? So I guess Rosa Parks was a selfish bitch. That's what she's saying. By her logic, that's what she's saying. Stupid.
About self.
So there's and I'm admitting that in a way that very few other people do, but I got to be honest about it. That was a big part of why I did it.
And my thing is, what 17-year-old, 18-year-old is supposed to be about serving the people? You show me how many 16, 17-year-old motherfucking kids are about serving the people without, I mean, just with that. That's my purpose. I just want to serve people. I just want to help people. That's all I want to do. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to get into college. I want to just help and serve the people. I want to be a civil servant. No pay. I just want to serve. Makes no sense. She's literally trying to like validate her point and trying to discredit this motherfucker from running on some stupid shit. Yes, Rigo, she's trying to crucify this nigga because she feels he ain't served the right way. Even though he's answered her questions and has proven what she's asked twice so far, it still ain't enough.
Yeah,
when
it
I
was about
graduate-
self, and I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to give it back to the guys.
if I
I'm
can-
going to be honest about it with you.
Yep.
Leadership is not about self.
I agree
And
with
so
you on
what
that. I
what
agree
I
with you
just
on
heard,
that.
what I just heard is that everything is about you. And to be honest with you, this is just a PR campaign, sir. To be honest with you, and I think you're trying to go further to the right because you want the Republicans to accept you as a man of color. And I think the only way you think you can do that is to be so extreme.
I appreciate your
with
opinion.
with your positions, and I think you need to do a little bit more work in service. I'll give it back to you guys.
Let me
You failed the
ask
test,
you,
by the
because she
way.
did ask me a question.
And there you go. The attitude, the disrespect of black women on not just everyday life, but just in media, period. They do it everywhere. And I'm telling you like this, the reason why I'm saying that, if a white man talked to a black female candidate like that, he would not lose just his job, he would lose everything. There ain't a white man, there ain't a white woman, there ain't a black man that could talk to a black woman the way she just talked to that man and still maintain their life and their livelihood. No way possible. And ain't a motherfucker that can tell me anything different. The way that she just behaved, the way that she just spoke to that motherfucking man that she don't know, the way that she just did that, there is no way that somebody wouldn't say, that's disrespectful. She disrespected. They would crucify a white man for speaking to a black woman that way that's running for office or running for anything, running for her life. It don't matter. She literally was just being an ignorant bitch on purpose and did not even give him or acknowledge anything that he said in answering her questions. Have you served in any way? I tell you not once, I tell you two things that I did. And then I told you why I did them. And you still said that wasn't good enough. And now everything I'm doing now is just a PR stunt. And I'm just trying to get the Republicans to like me and to accept me as a man of color. Why would you give a fuck if you're an independent? And like he said, this shit was just basically came out to be you just giving your opinion. Because the facts, you totally looked over all that shit. But you sure found a way to tell your story about getting your paper snatched in 6th grade. Fuck your military experience. Fuck what you did in the military, which was probably nothing, which is why she didn't speak to it. But you focused on you in 6th grade getting your paper snatched. And that service? Yeah, all right.
And then you guys said you wanted to hear a response, but I think I heard an expression of opinion. So just I want to make sure you're all done before I respond to it.
No,
You
just
all
wanted to say that even then, I would still want you to point out, even at the hospital, something that you did that made you stand out on when actually taking a leadership role. But you,
She said when actually taking a leadership role, he told her that not only did he join the group, but he became the leader of the group. What the fuck more do we have to tell you about what he did? He was on the student council. He said he was the vice president of the student council. That ain't leadership? I don't know what is. He then tells you that he joined a group to help mothers that have just given birth. He joined the group and then became the leader of the group. If that ain't leadership, I don't know what the fuck else is. Seriously.
you already answered it. You said you did it because it was a motivation to get in college.
Exactly.
Which means
and
it was
I'm being
about
very
you.
honest about that. But
everything has been about you. So
And wasn't getting your paper snatched about you? It wasn't that you saw everybody else's paper getting snatched and said, you know what, she ain't snatched my paper, so I'm going to stand up for them anyway. No. You talking about your paper being snatched was the reason why you had a problem with it. Bob, it's time to stop. There's the warning, first and last. Please stop.
As a veteran,
let me
as
tell
a
you
veteran,
something. I appreciate
it's very
this.
hard for me to follow leaders that make everything about them. So you might want to work on that because it's a lot of veterans and Republicans. So you might want to work on that talking point and maybe do some volunteering while you're on the campaign trail. I'm going to give it back to Charlamagne and Envy.
Yeah.
So now she's giving it back to Charlotte. I'm going to give it back to Charlamagne and Envy. Right? That's what she said. Ain't that right? He was trying to respond, and she still ran her mouth for the second time. Okay. You got it all out, hopefully, right? Nah. So now, let's see what happens.
Once I want to be respectful. Want to make sure you got everything you wanted to on the table before I
I
respond
got
to
plenty.
that.
If this was just us, it would be a lot more.
You guys tell me. I'm the guest on your show. You tell me when I'm good to speak.
Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
You sure? You sure about that? If we're good.
Yeah, we're sure.
So I think there's a different worldview that we have. And I think the worldview is how one actually makes contributions in a country. I do not believe that there's a separate category of just if you're serving the country and then if you're acting in self-interest, that's somehow sinful or wrong. I reject that vision. To the contrary, I think capitalism is the best system known to man to lift people up from poverty. I deeply respect and I thank you for your service to this country. I'm grateful for it. I haven't served the country in the way that you have. But I think that the way you get ahead in capitalism, how did I develop a multi-billion-dollar biotech company? It was by developing medicines that save people's lives.
A lot of people say capitalism causes poverty.
Yeah, I disagree with
And here's my thing. A lot of people say capitalism causes problem. However, if you don't like working for Luther's janitorial, quit. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and get back to work. It's amazing how people who live in a capitalist society complain about capitalism. There are plenty of socialist and communist countries that you can go to. Take your pick. But all the while Charlamagne will make the statement, there are plenty of people who say that capitalism is the problem, is a capitalistic motherfucker. With every book he's writing, with every fucking show he's creating, he sure is benefiting from capitalism. It's amazing to me how capitalist people talk about how capitalism is a problem. If that ain't hypocrisy, I don't know what the fuck is. Yeah, you know that thing that I do? Yeah, I think that's very problematic that I do it and, other people doing it too. Exactly, Shelly. Give up your check, nigga. Bet you he won't. I bet you he don't. It's like, what the fuck kind of sense does that make? Again, we have this sense of entitlement where we can talk shit standing in the house that provides everything that we have. It's because of the person that is provided for. We standing in their house talking shit about them. And we think that that's okay.
with that.
Okay.
I disagree with that. I think that capitalism demands that you provide something to someone that helps them more than you're actually charging them for it. That's the only way.
That's
the
a
tried and
business
true
model,
way for
sir.
you
That's
it
not
is a business
service.
model. It's not.
Why is she back? He was literally responding to what he said. And yes, it's a business model. That's what capitalism is. That's what he was just talking about. Because Charlamagne said that capitalism is a problem. He was explaining that. And here she goes talking about service. When I just proved a while ago, you can still provide service through capitalism. Duh. How the fuck is capitalism not being of service? So I guess the motherfuckers who invented the Ford Model T, the Ford brothers, I guess Henry Ford. I guess Henry Ford wasn't of service to the country. Guess we should have still been riding horseback around this motherfucker. Just saying. These motherfuckers ain't been of service. No. It's like this is, again, a moot point that she's bringing up. You can absolutely be of service while providing that service, capitalize off of it. Everything that you did, bitch, wasn't free. When you was of service in the military, you got a check every motherfucking 2 weeks. And you also, or every month. And you also got benefits after you got your honorable discharge for serving this country. What are you talking about? She's acting like she didn't get paid when she was in the military. She's acting like she didn't get housing when she was in the military. Bitch, I was paying your salary when you was in the military. If you really want to call a thing, while you was serving yourself, serving me, you was getting paid for it with my tax money. What are you talking about?
That's not service.
I'm saying it's having an impact on society.
An elected official is service. That's the disconnect.
That's right. So now I'm moving on to...
An elected official is service. So you're now telling me that elected officials don't get paid? Because that's all this is coming down to. Show me an elected official that does not get paid. Can someone name the elected official in government that does not get paid? Anyone? Bueller? Can someone please tell me the elected official that doesn't get paid? What position doesn't get paid? Donald Trump does get paid. He just donated his check. He did get paid. That's all I'm saying. They all get paid. There is no point of contention that she's trying to make here. She's literally, and I'm just saying it, she's just talking shit. Because she's allowed to talk shit. And I am so tired of niggas being stood up and put in positions to talk shit even when it don't make sense. You just talking shit about a person just because you in that position to talk shit. And I thought that he failed the test and you passed it back over to Charlemagne and Envy, but yet you still fucking talking. Bow the fuck out and be done. But you can't. Because bitches never shut the fuck up. They gotta keep running their fucking mouth.
Now I'm moving on to, there are phases of our lives where we do different things.
Well, you're moving straight all the way up to President of the United States.
You know, I don't view it as a hierarchy. I don't view it as a hierarchy. I don't believe in hierarchy.
Where is it written that you have to be a mayor first before you go be the president? You got to be this first before you got to be the president. Where the fuck is that at? What the fuck else show me where there is a written rule for her to even be bringing this up to say I have to be this first in government in order to run for president. And again, getting back to my point I made earlier, why would you want a seasoned politician, especially you being an independent, why would you want a seasoned politician to go through the ranks and still be the status quo of what's been if you talking about change, if you talking about things being done different? Yes, she's moved the goalposts several times, and I've even given her leeway on a couple of them, but she's steadily doing it. Because all she wants to do is discredit this motherfucker because she don't like him. Or somebody who told her that she shouldn't like him, so now she don't like him.
The hierarchy is the way the bureaucracy works. I don't believe in so we have a difference in opinion.
You also don't believe in service, and that's where we're having a disconnect.
Well, I disagree with you on that. I just disagree with you on that.
Rude, disrespectful, classic black bitch fashion, and I'm just telling you like this. Imagine being her husband. You couldn't get a word in edgewise. She don't know this man, but she don't like him. And because she don't like him, I'm going to be as disrespectful and as rude as I possibly can. Why? Because I'm a black bitch and ain't nobody going to stop me. And it'll be the first motherfucker talking about, don't nobody stand up and protect black women. Well, I don't think you need protection in this situation, do you? Shit. As rude as you being, as unprofessional as you're being, all right.
I think it's whack that you're proposing to revoke voting rights for 18 to 24-year-olds unless they meet certain qualifications, but you never exercised your rights.
Well,
so long.
Most young people don't, is the whole point.
Well,
so, Charlamagne, let me ask you a question. Do you think
the largest voter turnouts have been over the last couple of elections, few elections?
They still voted at a very low rate. But let me ask you a question. What do you think about high school students being required to pass the civics test? What's your perspective on that?
The one that you proposed?
The one that every immigrant has to pass in order to enter the country. If every high school student has to pass that before they graduate, what's your take on that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Okay, good.
So he don't even have a problem with it. He don't even have a problem with it. But he said that's whack, what he said, because he ain't did it. I'm okay with you disagreeing on that. I'm okay with you disagreeing on that. But why does that disqualify him for running for president or to be the president? Just because you disagree with a policy? I disagree with one thing that you say, nigga, you should never be president.
Now let me tell you something about the law as it exists today. Men in this country, not women, but men are required by law to register with the Selective Service, age 18 to 25. That's the draft. We don't have a draft, but men have to register. If you don't, they put you in prison. At least they can. It's a criminal offense if you don't.
Is that fair? Let's see if they say anything about that.
My view is I would decriminalize that. I don't like the government telling you what you can and cannot do. That's not the American way. But if you want to enjoy the civic privilege of voting, then I think it is perfectly legitimate to say you have to at least know something about the country or have served that country, one or the other. Absolutely.
And that's all he was saying. The particulars of it, the initial premise, like I said, I didn't agree with it, but I had a different solution as to what I thought and why I didn't agree with it. But I'm still on the same page with him of having some level of service and some level of knowledge about the country that you're in. We can know who the fuck founded Facebook, but we don't know our fucking three legislation, our three areas of the legislative, executive, and we don't know that. Like, really? We don't have to know the branches of government, but we can know who the fuck Zuckerberg is? He has a fucking point. Now, the approach to it may be different. You may have some different ideologies about it, but he still has a fucking point, and Charlamagne just agreed with him. But he got to be on her side.
Now, I think that what do we actually care about, right? What do we? I mean, we can do the personal attack thing. We care about the country. We care about the country.
The cornerstone of democracy, though.
Voting is the cornerstone of democracy. I have not.
Okay, and how many other people didn't? What is the point that he's making? So I didn't know, and I didn't do because I was uneducated. Maybe if he was forced to do what he's saying, maybe he would have voted. Maybe he would have voted, which would be his point. Just like how I said, I wish that I would have served in the military, at least did 2 years in the reserves. Coming out of school at 18, just because of the benefits that I would have had. I would have had a job, knowing what I was doing, something, getting paid for it, and I'd have got out in my 2 years and I'd have had some benefits. I'm clearly glad that I didn't serve 4 years. And I'm so glad that I didn't go and sign up for 4 years, because if I would have done that, my black ass would have been in 2 wars and probably wouldn't be here today. That's all I'm saying. I would have been in that time, that little cusp of time that if I would have enrolled at 18 in the military, and got out and went to motherfucking over there, I would have been in not one but 2 fucking wars. And probably wouldn't be here today.
That's right. And you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing that's different is,
Respectfully, sir, excuse me.
I thought she gave it back to Charlemagne and Envy. Why is she still talking? I thought she said, I'm going to give it back. Y'all just tell me if I'm hearing it wrong. I thought she said she was going to give it back to Charlemagne and Envy when she did her next shit like this. All the fucking attitude. Why are you still in here?
Because this is important. We have to pause it. This is not a personal attack.
That's okay.
This is you, and I know, and I.
This is not a personal attack, but the fact that I told you that I did what you asked, you're still saying that I didn't. What kind of attack do you call that? What do you call that? If you say, hey, Brian, have you ever worked? And I say, yeah, I have a job. Well, I'm just saying, I just think that anybody that serves this country should have to fucking work, have a job. Yeah, I had a job. I've had 2. Well, I'm just saying, I think that it's a problem that the fact that somebody like you didn't work, I think you're doing this for publicity, and I don't think that, bitch, I told you already I done worked. What you asked me, I answered. I answered not once that I did it, I answered twice. Yes, I served in something else, and I was the leader in that something else. What the fuck else do you want from a nigga? As DMX would say. But she's so hell-bent on being a rude, disrespectful bitch, ain't no stopping her. She got that Diddy syndrome. Can't stop, won't stop. Take that, take that. I'm going to keep saying the same shit over and over again, saying you ain't served in nothing, saying you ain't no leader, but you're trying to be a leader because you ain't never been in public office, and I'm just going to keep saying that shit and keep saying that shit because that's the only thing I got to say.
I know that as a Republican.
And why does this bitch got on 35 fucking filters? That is not how she looks. I'm just saying. You want to talk about keeping the shit real? You want to talk about keeping it a buck? Why the fuck you got on 35 motherfucking filters?
You are certainly not soft. So this is not a personal attack.
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
okay with
asking
attacks,
about.
too.
This is about asking about your background and how it correlates, how it's relevant to saying you're going to serve this country because president is actually.
So I have been an
serving
open book
the
in the
country.
last
No,
3 years.
Yeah, I know,
Absolutely.
and I'm going page by page.
And
but
I'm
it's not
saying
an
that I
attack.
have not-
I'm gonna let you finish.
Yep.
But I want to be clear. It's not an attack.
Okay.
Because you've been an open book, but that doesn't
Totally.
mean I have to like what's on the page.
That's fair
But
enough.
it's not an attack. I'm just reading the book.
Yep.
And so when I hear somebody say you need to get to either pass this test or do some type of service to the country, and I spend hours looking. You were in the Phi Beta Kappa. Did you have a leadership role in college, the honor roll? When somebody sets service as the standard and they've done no service except.
Again, she insists on lying. Why does she keep saying that? He's giving her at least 2 clear-cut instances on when he served. And it ain't good enough for her motherfucking ass. So she's going to keep saying he didn't. When all she can do is talk about her and the 6th grade campaign she led about getting her papers snatched. And nobody, and you heard, and Envy old simping ass and Charlemagne sat there and heard the same shit, and ain't neither one of them men stopped her to say, nah, Tesla, he did say this. No, Tesla, hold up. He did say he did that, so you should stop saying that he ain't done nothing. He just may not have done what you expected him to do, but you can't say that he ain't done it. Bitches just love to fucking lie, and they love to build on fucking lies when it serves their purpose. Period.
To themselves, that's a fair question. It's a question, and you just
So I've been on the. I mean, look, I was on
I
was on high school student council. Yes, absolutely.
Were you a lead? Were you a leader?
I was a vice president of my high school student council. Absolutely.
He just said it. I was on high school student council. I was also the vice president. Let's see if that's enough for the bitch. Let's just see if that's enough. Let's see if she's going to acknowledge and give him credit and acknowledge the fact of him actually answering her question again to see what she says.
I was the
Okay.
president of the
Okay,
National
great.
Honor Society. I can go down the list. It's just that
That's
these are
what I
not-
was asking you to do. Go down the
Absolutely.
list. But
So
proceed.
I was a president of the National Honor Society. I was the vice president of my student council. I was a lead amongst the.
President, that's 3. President of the National Honor Society, vice president of his student council. Okay, so now by her logic, this should be more than enough for her. Because that's definitely way more important than fighting a bitch who was snatching papers in 6th grade, right? She should now acknowledge the fact of what he did and change her stance on what she said, you would think, right? Let's see if that happens.
Volunteers at the hospital where I served growing up.
3.
I was actually a leader in volunteer research over the summers. From my senior
But
year.
all of that, but you already admitted all of that was to get into college.
Not
But
all
go
of it,
ahead.
but I am admitting it. I think that
I know.
Student body, National Honor Society, that ain't enough for her. I guess her snatching papers and her campaign was way more important than all of that. She won't fucking admit when she's fucking wrong and just say, okay, let me let that go and move on to something else. Nope. She gonna keep staying right there. She gonna double down on it, even to the point to where she's just lying and being completely disingenuous. And this is my problem when it comes to black women being in media, being in positions like this, to where you can actually have a conversation and you refuse to do the opposite. And if he was doing this shit to her, they would say he's attacking her, he's bullying her, he's disrespecting her, would be all that's being said. I can't believe how they let him disrespect the black woman like that, is exactly what motherfuckers would be saying. She's doing the same exact thing to him and nobody's saying nothing. Them two fucking, that beta male and that fucking cuck sitting right there at that table with him ain't saying shit. But they sure started and said, now come on now, you can't be interrupting her now. The fuck out of here.
Oh, that's
That's
self-service,
important.
though. I just do
A
you
lot
understand
of
the
that-
difference
a
between
lot of-
self-service
and
service?
I think the reality is, and I think we just all have to be more honest.
We
When
do.
many high school students are serving today, not all of them, but I think let's smoke it out. I don't like that structure where we actually
No,
mix
and I don't like the
service with
structure.
self-interest.
And I
So-
don't like the structure of somebody saying somebody need to give service as a veteran. I don't like the structure of somebody
That's
going
fair,
to the
we can
highest
disagree.
office of the land and have not served anybody at any time unless it was self-serving. So
How is that not true? So is the National Honor Society self-serving? Student Council, that's self-serving? So because you basically saying, because he ain't served in public office, you're saying as a veteran that he shouldn't be allowed to be president. How and why does that make any sense? I would love for someone to explain that point that she just made and how it makes any sense. It's idiotic. So you're telling me that anything that you do as far as service, if you're getting paid for it, is self-service. So wouldn't that be the same for her? Wouldn't that be the same for any other politician? Because public service ain't never been free, ain't never been done for free. So why would she even try to make that a point of contention to be president? When you just want to be a bitch and be a bitch on purpose, that's why you would do that. Because you don't like somebody. Couldn't get the fact that she got corrected and that he actually answered her question and proved to her that he did what she was asking about. Nope, I'm going to still be disrespectful. I'm going to still be a bitch. Because that's what a black woman do.
this is where we just have two different ideologies. And I know your
here's
goal
my
was to come here and
perspective.
get into.
Here's
yeah,
my
I know.
perspective.
That's why
Let
we
me-
got
let me
different
sh-
Remember,
perspectives.
two guys, you got to leave in 5 minutes. I know.
Hold on, I wanna-
I'll let them wrap
Yeah.
up.
I know.
Let me
Now she just turned it over again a third time. I'll let them wrap up. Let's see if she got something else to say.
just say one thing is here's my vision of the run for presidency, and this is why I say I'm an open book, is my job is to make sure people in this country know who I am and what I stand for. And I think that very few politicians on either party actually get that job done. So what I say is I'm an open book about who I am and what I stand for. Whether the people of this country want to vote for me, that's their question, not mine.
Exactly. So why would you be here trying to discredit that as opposed to just, hey, arguing or debating his politics? Why would you try to hold on to and make a point of contention on what he's done as far as public service to say that if he's a viable candidate or not? It's stupid. Very fucking stupid.
That's their job to determine, not mine. And you're free not to vote for me. I expect you won't, and that's okay. But I'm doing my job in the 3 books I've written over the last year, in the conversation I'm having with you guys. being far more honest than any politician that I know in the last 10 years in this country. And I think when I say we want to fix corruption, you don't know what the first step is? The first step is actually people being honest. So you guys know me. You know what I stand for. I haven't hit back on that. Whether the people in this country want to vote for it, that's their choice.
Do you want to?
And what's wrong with that? Why would she have a problem with that? And why would she try to discredit him for that? Not to say that she got to be okay with it, but why would she have a problem with that to say that he shouldn't be a viable candidate for presidency? That's stupid. That's idiotic. That makes no sense. And especially for somebody who's supposedly an independent, how many independents win? What is the ratio or the percentage of independent political candidates that are actually in office? What, less than 1%? How many independent senators do we have? How many independent congressmen do we have? How many independent presidents have we had? How many independent vice presidents have we had? And no, Chris, her points do not sound like an independent's point of view, but whatever. I think she's doing that for convenience. Whatever. I could care less. But my point is, how many independents are actually in public service? How many independents are in office? And I'm just saying, like, what is your problem with him saying what it is that he's saying? Because that's his political agenda. Why would him serving in high school or elementary school like you did be a point of contention for you even? That's stupid. Fuck what his politics are. Fuck how he thinks. Him as a grown 37-year-old man today, you like, fuck all that. Tell me about what you did in high school and grammar school, nigga. That's what I want to know, because that's going to tell the tale. Stupid.
Unite the country?
I do want to unite the country.
So why is like one of your marquee campaign proposals making sure black people can no longer benefit from affirmative action?
See, here's the thing. It's actually been a disastrous experiment over the last 60 years.
He's talking about affirmative action. And my thing is this. I'm all about meritocracy. And for any of you pro-black motherfuckers that hear this, try to come back and say, not just am I for meritocracy, but I'm also for us, black folks, niggas alike, having our own shit. You don't have to worry about affirmative action when you got your own company. You don't have to worry about having affirmative action when you got your own restaurant, when you got your own neighborhood that you got your own businesses in. That's our problem. When you got your own shit, you ain't got to worry about somebody not hiring you because you black. When you got your own companies, when you got your own businesses, you don't have to worry about being hired or not being hired because you're black. You don't have to worry about none of that shit. So if niggas want to be fair, you want to end racism, get your own shit. Or shut the fuck up. If you think affirmative action is a good thing, get your own shit and you ain't got to worry about affirmative action. You can have an all black whatever. You can have an all black this and all black that and all black whatever. You ain't got to worry about not getting no job coming out of cosmetology in a salon and not getting hired because you black. Nope. Get your own black hair salon and go ahead and hire yourself and hire nothing but black folks. We got this thing where we constantly want to talk shit and ask people that we talking shit about to give us what we think we should have.
I've seen the impact that it's had. Unlike a lot of other executives, I've had senior executives in my company who happen to be black, senior executives in my campaign who happen to be black. I actually went to a majority or close to majority black school 1st through 8th grade. There isn't a single one of those black kids or black colleagues that could not have achieved everything I have in my life. I firmly believe that to be true. And I have seen the unfair discrimination behind closed doors, the things that people will say behind closed doors, about somebody who would have had that position anyway, but was unfairly tarred with the taint of saying they got it because of a race-based quota system. I think that's unjust to everyone across
So that's him basically talking about white folks saying he got that job because he black. He got that job because he affirmative action. Not the fact that he was qualified and he could do the job and he knew what the fuck he was doing. They just saying, no, he got it because they got to have a quota. I guess. I get it. So if there ain't no affirmative action and it's an all white whatever, start an all black whatever. Stop asking for the motherfucker that you say that's doing you in and doing you wrong to be nice to you. It's stupid. If that's your belief, if that's what you really banking on, saying you can't get nothing because this white person is doing you in, then start your own whatever the fuck it is, and you ain't got to worry about it at all.
The board. And I think that the right way to do this is actually ensure equality of opportunity, educational access at an early age, which, by the way, we don't have in this country, starting at an actual young age. How about doing that in a way that's agnostic to race? That way we prevent seeing...
What? Is he talking about just not talking about race at all? He must be racist.
...one another on the basis of a color of our skin, but we actually solve the real inequalities that we have when it starts with inequality of opportunity, starting with education. So my view is, I think my approach is actually going to be more successful in lifting up more black Americans than have been the Lyndon Johnson approach of actually using race-based quota systems.
So if the Supreme Court does rule on affirmative action and they do ban it, who do you feel it benefits versus who it hurts?
I think that it helps everyone if they end race-based affirmative action in college admissions. I think it will literally help everyone in different ways because it restores merit in the United States. Are we perfect in ensuring equality of opportunity? No, we're not. The
Sounds like a great opinion to me.
fact that kids are trapped by the zip code in which they're born, determining where they go to school, is a problem, which is why I favor universal school choice in this country, which has actually done more to help black Americans than has any affirmative action program.
What's your thoughts on people?
Oh, so he not only said that he didn't agree with affirmative action, but he gave an instance as to where affirmative action and the other things that are surrounding it could actually make a difference, like when he talked about school choice. So having school choice, where you can choose the school you want to go to, he's saying that can help you get better education and better access and more access to better education, so that you don't have to worry about affirmative action and you can basically go and get things and achieve things based on you and your meritocracy, what you can actually do and how qualified you are. Wow.
Saying that you got Don Lemon fired.
I think that the New York Times reported that. I had an open debate with Don Lemon. What CNN wanted to do with that is their choice.
Yes, DJ Envy just tried to bring up the fact that they're saying that he got Don Lemon fired. Yeah, right. Don Lemon got fired because they got tired of Don Lemon. They're changing the whole game around at CNN. That's why Don Lemon ass is gone.
My view is, though, we need to start saying in public the things that people are otherwise saying in private. There's a gap right now in the country. Let's admit it. Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter.
Be careful with that, because a lot of people in your party are going to start saying nigga out loud.
See that? You see that? You see that? You better be careful when you say that, because a lot of people going to start saying nigga out loud. He's not a nigga. What difference does that make? Why would he care about that? You see what I mean? I just don't like the fact that they do shit like this. It's childish and it's idiotic. And I just believe that your platform is too big for you to be this fucking stupid and this fucking childish. That's all I'm saying. That's the best way for me to sum it up.
I don't think so, actually, and I would certainly hope not. I would condemn it if...
Because now he's saying, and you see he's holding back his smile. He grinning like a bitch. Charlamagne's grinning like a bitch, trying to be funny. Dude is having a serious conversation, and what does he do? He gonna drop the nigga word in front of this dude who's Indian, who can't say it, and ain't got nothing to do with it. But I'm gonna bring it up to him. Better be careful, because they're gonna start throwing around the N-word, the nigga word. They're gonna start calling us niggas. Why would he give a fuck about that? He's not a nigga. He ain't black. Never said he was. But you're implying that he is and that he should care about it? Why?
They do. I would condemn it if anybody does. All right? But what I think is we need to close the gap between what people say in private and what they say in public. That allows us to air our differences, and then we actually find unity that way. That's actually what I think unites the country, not creating this culture of hush-hush, right? Say one thing in public and a different thing in private. And I do reject Don Lemon's premise. What did he tell me on set? He said, you can disagree with me when you have black skin and you've lived in this country, whatever ethnicity you are. Explain it
sir,
to me. I just reject that.
I thought she was done. Nope.
I think we should.
Sir, let's just use a real example of just what everybody said. You said, people can have difference of opinion. They can have, you want to unite people. I gave you a difference of opinion as a veteran, and you came back and said that I was personally attacking you, and that is a way of gaslighting and basically, trying to set the.
And here's why she was personally attacking him, because he answered your question and gave you the instances of when he served, and you still said it wasn't good enough. If that ain't personal, I don't know what the fuck is. Hey man, have you ever played basketball before? Well, actually, yeah. I played basketball in elementary school, and I played in high school. I did play. Well, I think that that's still not enough, and I think that. So you asked me if I played, saying that I should have played, and the fact that I did. Well, I think that you played self-serving basketball. I think you were selfish on your basketball team. So, therefore, you're not a good basketball player and not a good teammate because you was a shooting guard and you shot all of the shots. Okay, so the fact that I played basketball, which you was making a point of contention, I said I did, and I played on two different teams and on two different levels. You're saying that that ain't enough. You're saying that because I was a two guard, I shot the ball more, so that makes me a selfish player and I'm self-serving. I'm a self-serving basketball player, essentially is what you're saying, ma'am. That's what we doing? That's what we're doing. Because that's essentially what she did. That's a personal attack.
Idea that I was against you when I just had, that's the statement you made. And what I'm saying is, instead of us just having the debate, because see, I didn't talk about colors, which you probably expected when you came in here.
I did not.
If that ain't a personal attack, which is what you expected. So now you putting words in his mouth. He never said anything about it, never brought it up. Bitch, you just did. Why? It was never a point, but she brought it up. Why would she do that?
Well, that's fine. I didn't talk about color. I didn't get all emotional about your vision because I really wanted to just talk about what you've done in service, because you yourself has raised service as the number one thing that what people need to do in order to participate in the country that my ancestors built.
He did not say that was the number one thing. He didn't say that that was the number one thing. But yet and still, to try to support her fucking narrative, that's exactly what she's saying, isn't it? And she's insisting on saying it.
And you said that I personally attacked you. So just...
If you asked a question and I answered it and I actually met the qualifier that you gave, but you still came back and said that wasn't good enough, what would you call it? What would you call that? If you ask me if I've done something, I tell you I've done it, but then now you go into the level of which I've done it and said it was a selfish way you did it, though. How is that not a personal attack? If you're saying, hey, have you ever played baseball? Yes, I played baseball. Okay, well, what kind of baseball did you play? Well, I played Little League, I played Pee Wee, and I played Pony. Oh, well, see, you ain't never played AAA, so therefore, so now you was just making it a point to see if I played at all. But then the fact that I didn't play on this certain level or didn't play a particular way or style that you wanted me to, that's personal. I'm sorry, but that is. That's absolutely personal.
To give you some advice, if you're going to say, hey, let's have difference of opinion, let's be able to discuss.
I loved everything you did. I loved the whole thing.
Don't think that because I had a question that it was a personal attack, because
it was. I don't think a question. I think this is great, because you know what I said? What's the job?
Did you say personal attack?
What's the job?
Sure is
everybody needs.
Yes, he did. But you did personally attack him. What the fuck is she trying to... I don't understand how she's trying to say she did something that she did and then say that she didn't and then say you said I did. Yes, bitch. I said you did what the fuck I saw you do. You moved the goalposts on me 3 times. What the fuck are you talking about? If that ain't personal, I don't know what the fuck is. You ever played sports before? Yeah. Well, what kind of sports did you play? Because I think it's the type of sports you play. Well, I played baseball and I played basketball. You never play hockey? Well, see, I think that if you ain't played hockey, you just moved the goalpost, man. First, you asked me if I played sports. To say, well, I think that if you play sports, that it helps you and it shows a good reflection of the type of person you are, your type of character. You know, you being able to play a team sport and you learn about camaraderie and learn about rules and discipline. Yeah, I have played sports. Okay, what sports did you play? I played 2. Well, did you ever play hockey? Well, no, I ain't never played hockey. Well, see, I think that that's personal.
Needs to know who a candidate is and what they stand for. That's the candidate's
Sir,
job. Whether you vote for them
Can
or
I
not,
ask you
that's
this?
your choice.
Did you say I personally attacked you, or did I hear it wrong? I just want to make sure.
I did not say you personally attacked me. No, I said we have actual good. I wanted to know whether or not we were actually able. You said sit around for 20 years. I said I didn't sit around for 20 years, but that's okay.
Personal. 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 That's all I'm saying.
I think that, you know what, if somebody's running for U.S. president, I want to say this.
Well, you
If
did.
can't
Well,
handle
sir,
the
you
heat,
did
you stay
say,
out of the
quote,
kitchen.
you said,
So we'll come in
we can keep
and we'll
going
handle
with the
the heat.
personal
And I-
attacks. You did say personal attacks, though. So
I-
let's
I-
be honest. Remember,
Yeah.
that's your number one thing, being honest.
And I know you.
I agree with you.
And she just would not be honest. She was being very disingenuous.
I know you have to go, but I do disagree on what you said about affirmative action, because I feel like
Fair enough.
without that legislation, I don't think black people stand a chance. We had to create the legislation to even have a chance. And I don't know why you have faith that without that legislation, things will be fair or on equal footing for black.
Because we've evolved. That was 50 fucking years ago or 40 fucking years ago. And that's all he's saying. And I'm okay with him having that position. I'm okay with that. Charlamagne having that position and don't believe that, I get it. That's fine. He's just saying that, hey, man, I think that we've evolved past that, which is potentially possible and could be true.
I think that most people who benefit from affirmative action are the immigrants who came after Kennedy's immigration reform in the 60s. They are not descendants of slaves. They are people who came as immigrants like my parents did. Mm-hmm. And so I just think it is a broken system to say that you look like someone to whom a bad thing once happened and you're going to be favored over someone who looks like someone who once did a bad
you think
thing.
your parents would have gotten the same shot without that legislation?
I mean, so it turns out that Asian Americans, Indian Americans
Like you want
don't
to take away
benefit
something
from.
that benefited your parents, which directly benefited you.
See, here's what I'm saying is whether or not it's in our past, the question is how do we actually move forward as one nation? And I do not believe it is with race-based quotas. I believe it is economically
disagree.
empowering all Americans.
I think
Yeah.
that legislation was put here to protect people that look like me, people that look like you, and I think you're ridiculous to want to get rid of.
Here's what I would say is Lyndon Johnson's Great Society that this was part of, right? So affirmative action was part of it. There was a broader set of policies designed to help black Americans, I think have been disastrous for black Americans and all Americans.
I
Well, sir,
agree.
wasn't this-
I fucking agree. And here's my thing. I would and yes, I believe you're right, Shelley. She said this candidate's people probably warned him about what he's walking into. Absolutely. But he still needed to go on here. So yes. But my thing would be this. I would have asked Charlamagne, have you benefited from affirmative action? Did you get your radio job? Your first radio position? You being your first show that you was actually on, not a part of. The first show that you was actually on, did you get it by affirmative action? Did you get it by being? Is that how you got it? That's all I'm asking. Nope. My point.
disastrous for you. And what Charlamagne is saying is your parents benefited from it.
They
which
did not.
in
I mean,
turn-
as a point of fact, that's false. Indian Americans do not benefit from affirmative action.
No, that's not as a point of fact. No, that's not as a point of fact, because without the liberties that black folks have fought for, which has basically immigrants have been able to prosper in this country because of that. But we're not going to go there. Let's just.
That's the only true thing she even said. Was about the second or third true thing she said. Yes, plenty of immigrants have benefited from the Civil Rights Act. Plenty of people in the LGBTQ have benefited from the Civil Rights Act. Absolutely. I agree. I agree with that 100%. Yes, that is true.
Let's just say they benefited from being able to have the freedoms that black people fought for. That's the bottom line. And then in turn, it benefited you. And then your answer a moment ago was, well, let's not talk about stuff in our past. See, once it benefited you, you were able, you moved on.
I want to be honest with you. You guys want to get real. Let's get real. My parents were.
That's why the heart of a service. No, sir. Because the black people hadn't fought.
Yeah, we gotta get real. My grandparents lived. They lived in a colonial society. Britain colonized where my grandparents lived as well. But I think that I don't do well by seeing myself as a victim of the white man because actually Great Britain happened to have colonized where my
I don't think
grandparents
you're
were
a
actually
victim.
colonized.
I think you were
that's moving the
No,
goalpost.
I
though.
think
We
you
talking
were-
about
I don't
what
think-
benefited your parents when they got here.
That's right.
What benefited all of us is the fact that we have a free country where
No, what
anybody is
benefited
free
your
to achieve
parents?
what they want. I don't know what they came to this country with not a lot of money. What benefited them was hard work and dedication. My dad faced layoffs when he was growing up at GE.
Right.
He went to law school at night to be able to keep his job. What did that
You
teach
think
me?
affirmative
Here's something that she could have mentioned, and she would have been absolutely right. The tax break that immigrants get being here, that black folks don't get. Yep. There are plenty of benefits that immigrants get coming over here. Legal immigrants get. There's plenty of access to services that legal and illegal immigrants get coming over here, and they have not contributed a single dime or a single drop of sweat to this country. That's a point to make. That's true. That's a fact. So yes, you coming over here, I get it. No matter how you got over here, you still get access to free shit that you have not earned or worked for. Absolutely true. Great point to make. You're right, Zanti, and she probably don't even know that.
action benefited them?
I don't think affirmative action benefited him. Absolutely not. I think
Well, when
hard
he
work
went
and
through a layoff-
dedication benefited him. And that's part of what I want to share with all Americans. I want to make this the country where no matter who you are and what your skin color is, you get ahead with your own hard work and commitment and dedication. That you get ahead not on the color
I
of your
wish it
skin,
was
but the
that
content
simple.
of your character.
He has to go, guys.
And that's what I want for America. So-
One more thing. You told a voter that you were open to ending foreign aid to Israel. Then it was reported that it was a misunderstanding. What happened with that?
Yeah, it was. That was a false reporting, actually. So I think.
Oh,
that
you never said that?
No, I did not. I said that I was open to actually a broad strategy of disengagement from the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
My general view is we fought a lot of pointless wars for a very long time.
Absolutely.
Ukraine's the pointless war of the moment.
Yep.
And I think that the United States needs to disengage from parts of the world if it does not advance American interests. China's the top threat that we face, and we actually need to prioritize that in our foreign policy.
Good point. Good point. And all I'm saying is you can agree or disagree with it, but you still can't negate the fact that that's his point that he's making, and it's valid. He feels that America is in too much shit and we spending money in too much shit that don't involve us and that we could be spending back at home. Hey, man, I agree. We got all this money we done sent over to the Ukraine, but what have we done for... Let's just say we wanted to take that money we sent to the Ukraine and put it towards student debt. Now, you can disagree about student debt. I get it. But let's just say if we did that, would that benefit our country and the people in our country more? Or would Ukraine benefit our country more? Case closed.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for joining us.
I appreciate you guys having me.
How do I say?
Do
I
you
don't want
mean
to say your
that?
name right.
Huh?
Do you mean that?
I do mean that, actually, because we don't do this enough.
It's like,
right?
God damn.
So I do mean that. And I will come back if you guys will have me when I'm in New York City.
absolutely.
Of course.
Because to your point, the Republican debates will be way worse. By the way.
Oh, yeah.
This is, man, like I said, this is just to me, and like I said from the beginning, I'm disappointed at the fact that we got some black folks, niggas, whatever you want to call it, in a position with a platform that this big, and they are acting this childish and this petty. It's embarrassing. It's like, when are we ever going to have a platform that's respectful, that's dignified, that's classy, to where we can actually have a conversation or a debate and it ain't no bullshit involved? How come we can't have a platform like a fucking Fox News, like a fucking CNN, or like a fucking MSNBC, or whatever other platform you want to name, where we are having an actual conversation? Why can't we have some shit that actually gets respect and is not gaslighting bullshit, a bunch of fucking hot topics that's being dropped? I mean, quick talking points and bullshit ass keywords and hot phrases that we saying. Why can't we just have a real conversation as adults and it just be black folks? Why do we always have to do the classic ghetto bullshit or the classic ignorant shit that we've always seen years and years and years and years and years and years before? Why do we still have to do that? It's like being like talking jive ass, like talking some 70s. Hey, baby, you know, this is what pimping is, or this is what pimping does, baby. It's like we still doing that black exploitation shit. It's just on a different level. Can't you have a conversation without name calling? Can't you have a conversation to where you acknowledge some shit that you said that could have been wrong, that was actually proven to be wrong, and then moving on? Nope. Gotta keep running my mouth and talking shit. When? Until the fucking end. I know this show was long, but I woke up and I had to do it. I had it in my bones, even though I overslept. I'm sorry, but hey, I'm here and I did. I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight, this morning. I want to thank you all for sticking with me. Make sure y'all click that like button, click the subscribe button, and go back and watch this. Check me out on Rumble, please. Join my Rumble. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. I love y'all. Till next time, peace, and I'm out.
What's going on, everybody out there in the internet world? It's me, Brian Redmond, also known as the Relationship Rehab, and I need you to do two things. What are those two things? Subscribing to both my channels. I need you to go to the Relationship Rehab, subscribe to that channel, and then I need you to go to United Guns of America and go to that channel. Now you may be asking, why would I do that, Brian? Because it's two of the hottest channels on the internet. Come over there, give me your thoughts, give me your opinions, have conversations, because that's what it's all about. We talk about some of everything.